radio or driving to the punk rock show. Well, I don't wanna hear your podcast. No, I don't wanna hear your podcast. I got nothing to do today, and you got so many things to say. Still, I don't wanna hear your podcast. No, I don't wanna hear your podcast. You're just another voice in the crowd, and you don't dare to say what's not allowed. You bought a new pop filter and a fancy microphone, so go enjoy yourself and leave me alone. Well, I don't wanna hear your podcast. I don't wanna hear your podcast. I got nothing to do today, and you got so many things to say. Still, I don't wanna hear your podcast. No, I don't wanna hear your podcast. You're just another voice in the crowd, and you don't dare to say what's not allowed. You bought a new pop filter and a fancy microphone, so go enjoy yourself and leave me alone. Go enjoy yourself and leave me alone.
Hey guys! Hello.
Happy
Friday.
Okay, welcome to Liberty Late Night.
I'm Mary. Nice to see you guys again. Thanks for being here.
Okay, you say their names.
Okay, I'm going to say the names.
If you have to.
Because we're going to do, Dave's going to also set up so we can do an Irish car bomb drink. Alan's here. Hello, Alan.
Some Guinness Extra Stout.
Yes, we got Craig first.
Okay.
Facebook first. Alan's always
Hey, Craig.
really on the YouTube.
What's going on?
Yeah, Lyle's here. Hey, Lyle. What's going on? How are you guys doing? Ray Hatfield. Ray.
Hey, Lyle.
You were really our first button, honest to goodness.
It's the bottom
I really
corner
do.
there.
Yep.
Hey, Ray's here.
I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Hey, Mike, how are ya? How are you doing? Happy Friday. Joshua, hello. Yes, ads. I know. We did a thing over on Twitch. Isn't it weird?
Hello. Joshua.
Hi, David Jones. What's up? Pat Watson. I'm excited. He was going to be our
David.
guest a couple weeks
We
ago.
love David.
Yeah, that kind of fell
And
through.
something kind of happened. So.
And then I
he's
forgot to
coming.
respond to him about this week, and I was like, oh, is he even going to be on? Because I never actually confirmed
Yeah,
with him.
But he is.
And then he's
so.
like, yeah, I'll come on. I'm like, awesome.
Yeah. Hi, Matt Lacey. Have you been enjoying the nice weather? It's been so nice here. Like, oh my gosh. Really, really, really. Look who it is. It's David Matson. We got another David. Well, with
David.
your name
David.
up there. Hi, David.
We love David.
Harrison Palmer. Hi. How are you? Nice to
Like, I
see
wanna
you.
make sure
Tyler
they're
Chancellor. Hello to
perfectly
you
even.
too. Yes. Oh, well, they don't have to be perfectly
to be
even.
perfect.
Oh, perfectly even. Okay. Evelyn. Hi, Jamie Pyle. What's up?
Oh, wrong button.
That's okay. We got mics. You know, it's all good. I know you meant to press the Jamie button.
Yeah, it was right next to it.
Yes, and Jamie. So 2 Jamies, 1 button. Wait, that sounds.
2 Jamies, 1 button. Is that sexy, Ryan?
That sounds really bad. Hey, sexy Ryan, what's going
you
on?
can't
How
forget
are
Slither
you?
over on-
Want to say hello to Slither on Float?
Whatever, Slither,
Yes,
sir.
holding down the
I haven't
fort
seen
over
that.
there.
I don't know. That's kind of high energy, that one you sent me.
Thank you. Hello. Also, Noah. Hi. Word. What's up, dude? How are you? Yeah. So we're gonna do this drink real quick.
We got some Jameson.
Yesterday was Dave's birthday. He turned 43.
And we have some leftover.
And we have some leftovers from the St. Patty's Day celebration, that we had at home. And so the Irish car bomb with the Guinness, and then a shot of whiskey topped with Bailey's. Or is it supposed to be Bailey's topped with
But
whiskey,
this was
whatever.
almost half the price, and it wasn't like bottom shelf.
Yeah.
So this is my Irish cream that I bought because I didn't want to do a $50 transaction.
Yes, they have to fight, Codain. That's exactly how it goes. Hey, Courtney, I was just thinking about
Thanks,
you
Courtney.
the other day. How are you?
All right, so then you take the Baileys and you got your
Put it into the...
shot of
Yes.
Jameson.
Gosh, I'm so warm. I'm only going to get more warm.
This will help.
Do a car bomb after you came out. I don't know that...
I've been waiting 9 months.
yeah.
No, just kidding. My mom totally drank when she was pregnant with me.
What?
As you can
We don't
tell.
know that.
No, I don't know that.
We don't know that.
All right, here you go.
All right, are we ready? Okay, hold on. Let me get myself prepared here.
Did we get
Because
everything?
you got to chug. We got to chug. All
So
right,
we got
down the
half
hatch.
a pint
Ready?
shot.
Woo.
Ooh. That one.
You do. Win. Thank you very much for that.
Those are really good.
They're really, really, really good.
That'll get it going.
Yes.
All right, what else we got going on?
Deep breaths. Okay. Reminds me of my 20s. Missed you too, Ray. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, West Coast, and it's
I
like
know.
this is even too late for me. I shouldn't live like this, but oh well. I got 12-hour shift today, 12-hour shift tomorrow.
Yeah. Just so dainty. If it was just me or we were upstairs, I'd just be like, wah.
Yeah.
Love Irish car bombs. Yeah, they're so good. The weird curdling afterwards, though, it's a little unsettling to stare at. Like, ooh, but just don't look at it as I'm looking at it.
Yeah, we
I know
only have one
West
Guinness
Coast,
left,
you guys.
so
I know it's
that's all we
hard,
can
but
do
I'm
with
so
that.
glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out. Even just to stop in
Thank
and
you,
say hello to
Gary.
us.
And
Yeah, because we love you guys. Brings back memories. Yeah, Gary,
Everybody
what's
else.
up? We got to push the Gary button.
oh, Gary,
Yep.
Gary, what are you doing here? You're causing a scene!
you're causing a scene.
There's the belch. It's going to happen,
Yeah.
Man, now I wish we had more of those if I didn't drink
Yeah,
that
those are
last
really
Guinness.
good.
Damn
Yeah,
it.
see, and I'm not going to do a car bomb with Yingling.
Stupid nightmare. No, you can't do that. It's not.
Pennsylvania car bomb.
Yeah.
Drop a shot of Four Loko into a Yingling.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that would be very good at all. We want to make sure that we're staying on track because our guest is going to be coming on. Did you
Yes.
say 9:45?
Yeah,
Okay. Hey, radio, what's going on?
we are
thank
live
you.
now on his radio station.
Very cool.
Awesome.
That's
Thank
very exciting. So we're going to do the wheels that we usually spin.
Okay, yeah. So I've been waiting to give this away for like weeks. I mean, we did
Dave's
it before.
excited. We did it before, but it goes really well with our
it's gonna
with our
be-
guests. Are you going to shuffle the names so they're not all in alphabetical
I
order?
will.
Okay.
So we're giving away one of these little lockpick sets.
Woo! Yay!
It might not be this one. I just grabbed this one out of our folder, but it
I just
depends
have to
on
check
what's
this in
available.
case it's David.
But it'll probably be one of these clear locks where you can see the tumblers and you can learn how to pick locks. For legal entry if you lock yourself out of your
Yeah, like Davey, I was just
Your
checking
storage
to
unit.
see. Right, he likes me to call him David now. I can't call my son Davey. He's like, it's David, Mom. I'm like,
Ah.
whatever. So anyway, David the third is at a friend's house, and I'm pretty sure he has a house key.
Yeah.
But if
Do you have
not,
a phone?
he does. But I'm saying like he could pick the lock and give him something to do.
I don't know. I think
know.
the deadbolt would be different than like a. I don't know. Is it
Oh.
different than a master lock?
I am not sure. We can ask Pat though.
Yeah.
We can ask like
Yeah,
all
he's
about
like,
the locks.
yeah, he's,
Yes.
and
Yep.
he's before we were talking today. He's like, well, I'm
Hi,
gonna go
Delmar.
walk the 3 dogs I'm currently training. So I don't know,
Oh.
like, what do you do with those dogs? Are they
Wow.
are they narc dogs?
What?
I don't know.
Wait,
Figure
I
it
got
out.
I got to learn about this guy. I got to That's what we get to know people every week. So.
All right. So yeah, this week we're giving away this.
Yeah, we're doing the lockpick set because it goes with the lockpick guy.
Go to the wheel.
I mean, even though he does other things, we don't want to just label him the lockpick man. All right. So, guys, you know that if you have already won a prize, your name has been taken off the patron wheel. But if you are new, your name goes onto it.
Everybody wins.
And everybody's going to win a prize. Yes. And so some people's names are on there a couple times because it depends on where they are on the tiers of donations. So,
yeah, they know what it is.
Yeah, you guys
here.
know. You guys know what's going on. So
this.
we're going to see who's going to win the lockpick set tonight. Yay. Oh my gosh, Aaron is going to be so sad of it. Oh,
I mean,
Aaron!
yay.
Oh my gosh. I was like, where's Aaron?
Aaron
Where's Aaron?
Kender's like, Seth has to be the last.
Yeah. Aaron says Seth has, and we are not rigging it at all. There's no way to, unless we took out his name, That's awesome. All right, Ariane, we're going to get your address. I'm kidding. So that Amazon can send you that awesome lockpick set. Yes.
Okay.
So we have, like David, we got one for our son, and it's a lot of fun. It really is a ton of fun. Let him work for it.
All right, let's talk about the movie.
There you go. Okay, so movie night, Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. That's when we do our things. We're going to be over on Float exclusively, flote.app, and every Sunday night we watch a movie. So we have this awesome wheel of Seth Boudreau's idea to get to do the wheel, and this is such a great idea. So we spin the wheel, and we see what movie it lands on. Only like once or twice has it happened where we're like, not this time. So we'll spin it and see. Last week we watched Funny Farm. I was so happy to see that. It has been a long, long time. That's a good one. So I hate being called baby as well. Okay, yeah. I guess just because.
What is that?
Okay. I was
Waiting
like
for Guffman.
Multiplicity. I was so like, oh please,
Yeah.
I love that movie.
I don't know. I don't know
what
what this
Waiting
one
for
is.
Guffman is. So
We'll
find out.
And
We'll
see
have
if we
to
change our minds.
So tune in.
Somebody obviously suggested it.
Yes,
So
somebody suggested
they know
it.
what it
Tune in on Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Yes. David Jones says that he also hates being called Davy. Oh, he hated it being called Davy as a kid too. Oh gosh, I'm sorry. It's like because I'm his mom, I just do it. I've always called him like Davy. Yeah. Spinal Tap. What? Hey, Quartastic's here. How are you? Are you taking that movie off the wheel right now, or are you going to leave it on? Okay, good job.
Quirt.
Howdy, Quirt. I didn't know, what you were doing. You're like pushing a button and you had that open. How are you doing? How's the weather where you are? Is it getting to be springy? Because
is that doing way over
it's
there?
been really nice here, and then it's going to kind of get cold again, but be nice next week. So this is just how we get through March and the beginning of April.
Beginning of the shows when we have guests is like intense.
Like 70 freaking 5. Holy moly. Oh, I bet that was nice. No humidity. Probably just nice and comfy, huh? Mm-hmm. Yep. Oh my gosh. No way, David. Are you kidding me? Alan, oh gosh. Sleep with the windows open. Oh man. I crack the windows sometimes in the winter time, so
yeah, it was like, it's like 53 now. It was 60 something. That's a little too much.
Dave.
That's
So my parents came over today, and it was so nice because I haven't seen them a whole lot over the last year or so. They've been, just trying to be careful for themselves because they're older with health concerns and all that jazz. But so my dad walks in, and I'm like, "Dude, you cut your beard like it's trimmed." Like
not mine.
No, not yours. My dad's. And so I'm like, I'm going to say goodbye to him. I give him a hug, and I'm like, "Oh," and I go to like grab it like this, but it's short. And I'm like, oh, there's...
Yeah, I'm ready to chop this off.
So I'm sure at some point when it gets too warm, Dave decides to...
Just everything sheds.
Yeah, it's that blue eyeshadow. It is blue eyeshadow. I figured why not, I don't know how blue it looks to some people.
Yeah, it looks different on our
It looks different
screens.
on this screen here and this screen here.
They're not the same monitors.
And that screen. Okay, yeah, they're not all the same monitors. So, but yeah,
Those
yeah.
two
Oh, it
should
looks
be.
so good. Thank you. Oh, thanks. I'm happy to hear that. Yeah. It's like when the kids are like, "Oh, you're doing a show," because like I'm putting the eyeshadow on. Otherwise, I'm just rolling with just powder on my face. 78 here yesterday, a whopping 36 degrees. I'm over winter. I'm over that cold stuff. So,
We're gonna make sure everything's set up.
Okay, yeah.
Bring
Dave is gonna make sure that we can all hear each other. And oh my gosh, you guys are gonna be so excited! I see a dog in the background. Seriously? Oh my gosh!
Where's my buttons at?
Dave's gonna push a button here real quick. Bring you on. Can you hear us? Did we even ask? Can Pat hear us? Hello? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Hello, testing. Can y'all hear me?
Oh, that sounds great.
All right. Hi, Pat. I'm Mary, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't gotten a chance to meet you, even though I saw you were on Derek's show talking trash, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and
Derek
then
TV, yeah.
Okay, and then I know that you guys have been chatting, but I wanted to say hello. Everybody, Pat Watson. So we were talking big about the lock picking thing and all that, before you came on.
Yeah, because we actually give away a prize to one of our
do.
patrons every week, and this week we're going to give away a little clear lock, with the little set.
Yeah.
We got one for a kid,
So-
and he really liked it. So.
So we want to pick your brain on that. Sorry, I drank a little before the show. I usually don't chug. I usually don't chug, do an Irish car bomb right before the show starts. But thanks for being here, everybody. You're gonna see us pointing and waving. I don't know if Dave told you that, but we have a live, chat going on here. So if you see anything that you want to, reply to or talk to anybody about. Everybody loves pets, so can we see puppers back there? Hi.
Good job. She's balancing across two objects right now. You can't see it.
Oh,
There's a big gas she's kind of hovering over. Hi, honey. Back it up.
We love Nightmare.
And you train dogs.
Is that something
I
you
do.
do? You train dogs.
Yep, I actually have 3 dogs in this room right now, and they're all being peaceful and quiet. Well, this one's working, but the other 2 are in their crates, and they're not whining, and they're not causing a ruckus.
Nice.
That's
and
amazing.
And you're talking to them in German, right?
I was going to say that does not sound like English.
We mix German and English, but that's not the important part. We don't care.
Oh,
You
okay.
can use, gibberish if you want.
Yeah.
Who's that?
Oh my gosh.
I actually just interviewed, it's going to publish tomorrow afternoon. Good thoughts. I just interviewed a girl from Instagram I follow who's a deaf girl with a deaf dog. So we did the podcast interview because she has an implant and she can speak pretty well and hear.
Oh, wow.
But we also did quite a bit of signing during the interview that the video will be available too for people.
Oh,
that's
my
So
gosh.
just doing all sorts of cool stuff.
Wow. Oh, David Jones has hand signs, bro.
So what do you train them for? Just general training, or are these specialty?
Sure. I'll make a deal with you. You tell me how long you want me to spend on that answer, and I'll fill that time.
As long as you want, that's fine.
Yeah, we're all over the place.
I'll start. Let me start with the 60-second version. Ready? Okay, go. I am a franchise of Fortress Canine. I just call myself something different on Instagram, so it's easy to kind of track his franchise owner and me, the franchisee, with my own company.
Yeah.
I use all the same methods and philosophy and training that Fortress Canine uses. And he's my mentor. He trained me. He's the only person I've trained with in the dog world. And the primary purpose is family protection dogs, which is really unique. And a lot of that is subjective. So people think, oh, family protection, your dog bites. But it's actually even more niche than that. So there's a lot of dogs in the world that will do what we call bite work, but not a lot of dogs that are capable of doing family protection work, which is a tiny sliver of that. So there's the overview.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of cool. Family protection.
That's interesting. Yeah. I mean,
I have so many questions.
yeah, go ahead.
It's like,
Go ahead. Yeah,
no,
'cause
it's just
usually
Yeah.
Dave, I'm the talker, but
no,
when Dave
that's
has
really
questions,
interesting.
Go
I mean,
ahead,
it's
yeah.
they're trained I don't know, just teaching a dog to bite. Is that they might just go off on anybody?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Well, I know so many questions. So I'll give you a couple, and feel free to jump in and sidetrack me. So one of the biggest kind of myths or misconceptions is my dog is a protective, so he will bite.
Yeah.
And out all the time on the training field. I'm still fairly new to this, but I'm learning very quickly. I've been training people for over a decade, and dogs is kind of my newest tool for training. So I'm a very practiced information sharer, but the
Okay.
dogs are still kind of new to me. So my my mentor more than me, but he'll have dogs out on the field all the time where the owners say, my dog's protective. And he goes, great, I'll put on the bite suit and I'll fight you and the dog and we'll see what happens. And so many times, a huge majority of the time, the protective dogs will go, I don't want this fight. Nope.
Oh, because
So
you're
they'll
showing
bark,
aggression.
and-
They're
and-
not used to that.
Well, yeah, because because barking is it's a posture, but it's not an act of protection. It's part of protection, but it's not. It's like humans when you posture against someone, like you
Yeah.
puff your chest out,
Taking
and when
space. Yeah.
they pull out a weapon or like they punch you for the first time, you're like, So dogs are similar. So that's one of the first misconceptions: is if you have a dog that you think is protective, doesn't mean that they will engage in combat for you. Another myth is a lot of people, especially in the civilian world, that do dog bite work. A huge majority of that is sport biting. So either the companies that teach this sport bite method, sometimes on purpose and sometimes on accident, will teach their clients how to make their dogs bite somebody. But it's not what you would want to train for a combative situation where a very determined attacker is attacking you and your dog. So some of those sport dogs, if the person has a weapon or a knife or a gun or they're very strong or there's multiple attackers, some of those sport dogs will run and they'll bite and they'll do the thing. But they lose so much of the other parts of entering into violent combat because so much of it is sport. The equivalent would be you go to a gun range and someone says, all right, we're inside, we're at the stall, there's the paper, take your gun out, shoot the paper.
Yeah.
Great. Now you can defend yourself in combat.
From paper.
So that's kind of right. So there's a dog equivalent of that, which is they do a lot of work and a lot of very hard work and achieve some very great physical feats, people with their dogs. But family protection, what Fortress Canine does and what I'm starting to do is the type of training is so much more applicable to real life than what a lot of people in the industry do. And of course, a lot of people hate us for that.
Why do they hate you for that? I mean, because you're doing
It's yeah, sure.
Doing
It's
a
like
better job?
it's like martial arts. It's a very religious and emotional thing that my martial art's better than your martial art, that kind of thing.
Okay.
So according to them, you're doing it wrong.
How dare you make your dog bite this way?
Oh
Your
my
dog
gosh.
is doing
Are
it
you
wrong.
kidding?
Oh, okay.
So do you have to get
That's okay.
pretty rough with the dogs? Like, well, you're training this, or how do you get them used to like actually, like you're probably not beating on them, but they have to be ready for that.
Well, so that's a sensitive topic to explain with some subjective terms, which would be there are things for humans, and we believe that humans aren't dogs and dogs aren't humans. That's one of the things we start off with in our philosophy of our principles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they're expendable.
just like you wouldn't treat a person like a dog, why would you treat a dog like a person? So, but to use a human analogy, there are things that you can do to people that are very uncomfortable and that people don't like, but they're things that are very good for people. Politics aside, which I'm sure we can get into, something like boot camp, right?
Yeah.
Like boot camp instructors, if a boot camp instructor walked into your house when you were eating dinner and started screaming at you like a recruit, you'd be like, you're not a good person. Get out of here.
I'd probably cry a little bit.
I'd probably cry a little bit.
But in order to reprogram a brand new military person, you have to do those things that are very unpleasant.
Yeah.
All right. Again, politics aside, same thing with dogs. So we do things that are very difficult and challenging and uncomfortable to and with our dogs. But that's in order to create very strong and very capable dogs. But we absolutely also regard the lives of our dogs. We care very deeply for them.
Oh,
We
sure.
never abuse them. And we also, which is surprising to a lot of clients, we don't get emotional when the dog does something bad or wrong. That's kind of a detriment if you do get emotional. So you want to think about, okay, well, did I give my dog clear direction? Do they understand what I'm asking? Is there a different way I can do it? Or I gave them the command, but they did something different. Oh, are they following a pattern that I've set for them? So regardless of the word that I say, did they maybe do the right thing, but at the wrong time? So if we give a correction to our dog, a physical correction, it's not an instance of abuse. Like, you did the wrong thing, now I'm so angry.
Yeah.
That's not part of what we do. Kind of getting off track. I don't know what the first question was, but
It doesn't matter. Yeah, this is kind of how we flow.
Yeah, it just
we go where it goes.
Yeah. How exactly? I mean, do you have other pets at home? Do you have other animals, or have you always been a
Sure.
dog person?
I'll give you that answer. So I have not always been a dog person, but I've had like lap dogs in the house when I was a kid. So the family had like little tiny Shih Tzus on the couches. That's it. And I knew how to hold a treat and make them sit, but that was the extent of my dog knowledge.
Yeah.
Within the past 2 years, I've been spending a lot of time, just an insane amount of time, trying to do the mentoring and the apprenticing with Joel over at Fortress Canine. So I was spending 8 hours a day, 7 days a week out at the training field, just diving in as deep as I could. And again, I spent over a decade in the military and in local law enforcement doing SWAT team training and live tissue medical, keeping goats alive after they get shot, all sorts of shit. So
Wow.
I'm practiced, I have tactics, I have experience, I know the difference between good training and bad training. So I'm still new in the dog world, but that doesn't mean, I'm the equivalent of a 19-year-old dog trainer that has a year of training versus someone else that has a life of training that adds a new training regimen in.
That's pretty cool.
So haven't always been a dog person. The farm here, we're on a 10-acre homestead out in just west of
nice.
Houston, Texas. And there are two beautiful silver lab females dogs in the house. And they're so slow and sweet and just like they're like space heaters but with legs. They lean on you and they lay down and you're out, go to sleep. And we have Arrow here behind me. Come here, sweetheart. Cross. This is Arrow.
Hi, Arrow.
She is a almost 2-year-old female Dutch Shepherd.
Okay.
She is my active medical service dog, so she does some medical work for me. Back it up. Good girl. We also have Arrow's half-sister on ground. She was just returned to us yesterday. Long story short, she was with a great family. She's a great dog, but some of these working breeds are very high energy, so if you don't put the time in, they can kind of get away from you a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think the owner actually made a very smart decision, which was choosing the peace of a healthy, happy family over having a pet.
Right.
So, just basic stuff like chewing everything that they can get their hands on, and so no aggression, no biting. There was no nothing negligent like treating the dog badly. It was just a handful. And I actually got the dog in last night, and she is. I think maybe she must have gotten into like a secret cocaine stash. She's unbelievably excitable, but she's happy. She's healthy. I've already started within just maybe 2 hours of training today. She's already shown kind of some improvement with understanding a new rule book. Basically, is a term I like to use a lot.
Yeah.
So every dog has a job, and every dog likes to make their handler happy. So we have to show them how to do that. So I just basically, it's not that the dog's bad or wrong. They want to, make us happy. So I showed them the right ways and the wrong ways to do that.
Yeah.
And I love it. Oh my God, I have such a passion for it.
That's so great.
Do you ever get anywhere where they're not sure who's in charge? Like, do you have to set that?
You mean having multiple handlers?
Well, just like
like the dog?
yeah,
not, like,
the dog
is it-
doesn't know who's
like,
alpha.
Who's
you know?
alpha? Yeah. Do you ever have that kind
You mean
of
between
you
the
and
dog and the human?
Yeah, yeah.
There's
that
some
really a
thought
thing?
about that. There's some. I don't know the full answer to that, so I'm going to give you my personal, my limited knowledge on that, which is there's some statements that out there in the community that some testing experiments, whatever, that could be a myth. We could
Really?
we could have that dead wrong.
Yeah.
I believe that came from, and I'm willing to be wrong, so I'm not speaking on authority on
That's
this.
fine. Yeah.
Willing to be wrong, but I believe that comes from some scientist long ago that looked at wolves in captivity, and in that situation, one wolf would become the alpha. And I think that recently a lot of people are discovering, and again, I could be dead wrong, but I think recently people are discovering that, well, that was a study of wolves in captivity.
Yeah, that's a big...
Wolves in the wild don't do that.
Right.
So now there's basically a new breed, if you excuse the pun, but there's a new breed of trainers that are coming out and saying, you don't have to be a alpha to your dog. We've got that wrong. There's other ways to do it. And they don't see you as a pack leader. They see you as a human that they bonded with. And those are two very different terms.
neat.
So I'll kind of stop my answer there because I'm not
That's fine.
speaking on authority on that. But that's what I believe is.
Yeah, everything we know
possibility.
has been from like 3 episodes of the Dog Whisperer.
Oh my gosh, I was just gonna ask, like, what are your thoughts on
All I learned
on
was don't let
Caesar?
them walk in front of you when you're walking. It's like if you keep them next to you,
So-
they won't choke themselves.
We never
So
really
I've never
watched
seen
the
the
show
show.
a couple times, maybe.
So I have no comment on that.
Yeah.
I know that TV is TV though. So
Sure.
keep that in mind.
So
There's no magic
his sister, she lives in Pittsburgh, and she came up here to adopt a dog from the Humane Society because she had been visiting and stuff, and but it was he was a Doberman. And I was like, "Are you crazy? You know, like those dogs, you know, whatever."
Yeah.
But she was like, "No." Like she did all of her research. Like she was like, "I know what I'm getting into, and we're gonna have, you know, I'm gonna train the dog." And, she, you know, I don't know what kind of background she knew the background because they knew the
But
background.
she got him and dumped him off at my parents' house.
So she got him, but no, it was only for because she.
That was the first time I met him. Was when I opened the door.
It wasn't that she wasn't there. She came to pick up the dog and brought the dog over to your parents' house.
I opened the door and suddenly there's this mouth on my hand on the
Not
doorknob.
biting hard. Just,
And he just kind of put it on there and then just kind of let it slide off. And I'm like,
So she
what's
was
this?
there. She was there for the weekend, and I was there, and everyone was like going shopping, and I'm like, I'm just gonna go in the kitchen and get a snack. Like I didn't go or anything, and the dog had me like cornered in the kitchen, like growling at me.
He let you in, but wouldn't let you out.
He let me in, but he wouldn't let me out, and I was just like, what the hell, you know? Like, okay. So when like you guys thankfully turned around and came back, and I was like, oh yeah, I can't leave the kitchen, like specifically this corner, but. She had just gotten the dog, you know. I mean, she had just gotten him. So, but she worked with him, and he was
he got really
an
good.
awesome dog. I tell you what,
Cool.
like, yeah, she was very like, oh no, like, come here, let me, you know, here, have him do this, you know, show him that you know, you're, I guess, like dominant, you know, in a way by having him like do a trick, you know, and then after that, seriously,
Did she have you give him cheese or something?
yeah, she's like, have him like roll over and then give him this piece of cheese. And this, oh my gosh,
It was big
he
baby
was a
after that.
big baby. Oh my word. Oh, but he was a good dog. But yeah, he didn't like new people entering the situation.
area, yeah.
The area. Like if there was a big party, if someone new just waltzed in, he was like,
Everybody stopped.
you know, yeah. So, but that, yeah. I don't know. That was like my first real interaction with like what I was like, big scary dog because it could like hurt me, you know, kind of thing. I grew up. My dad had like beagles that lived outside because they were hunting dogs and stuff. So, but I don't know. I just wanted to share that because that was. So we got
like telling stories.
yeah.
too.
Well, we got a wiener dog a long
Yeah.
time ago, and I was like, we're gonna, you know.
We're gonna train him
train
good.
our dog, you know.
So we got him to sit pretty and roll over, and that was about it.
Yeah, he was a good dog though. He was a good doggo, but he barked a lot.
That's-
That was his job.
So that's a disclaimer too that I like to tell people is that we train. A lot of people are fucking shocked to hear this, and they say when we tell them we train our dogs with no treats, no bribery with toys, no
Wow.
clickers.
Oh,
No clickers.
We just use just the leash and the collar and the dog, and we set some boundaries, and we build some confidence and some trust and some routine, and we do give a lot of positive praise, but we do corrections as well, and people are just shocked to hear
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And the other nice thing that's kind of a disclaimer
That's
is
cool though.
is seriously, I think I knew within the first few minutes of speaking to my mentor that we were kind of destined to start doing some collaboration. And I saw him in person telling people, like, listen, we train our dogs a certain way for a very specific reason. So we know very specifically what we want the outcome to be. So our training has to match that. And one of the examples would be if we have dogs that are intentionally entering into a violent life or death confrontation with a human, we need to build the skills in them to do that. If we also are building family protection dogs, they also need to be completely safe and stable with the family and with other pets and with children. So those two things are both primary at the same time. The safety and stability of the dog when they're with the family, when they're in public, when they're with other pets and children, and the insane ability to enter into real, dangerous, violent, painful combat. which is wild, right? Having both those things at the same
Yeah,
time.
yeah, in the same
And
dog.
that's even in the military and in law enforcement, there's dogs that can't do that.
Really?
So, yeah. And one of the reasons that we don't train with toys or treats is that short answer, and there's a lot to it, but short answer would be if I have my dog bite someone or bite a sleeve, and then I hand them a treat and go, good job. When the real fight comes, I don't want my dog to go, ooh, this fight is not worth the treat. No thanks.
Oh, okay.
From day one, so I've worked with dogs that were 8 weeks old when we started bite work, and we do it very safely and very responsibly. I mean, we don't abuse the dogs, but we start building into them the fact that you don't necessarily have to bite me on day one, but when we start this exercise, I'm going to have the mental intent, and I'm going to show you, little dog, that I'm going to hurt you, and I'm going to, I pinch your thigh, but it's going to hurt. So we show the dog. A lot of dogs they'll turn away, or they'll hide behind the owner, or they'll circle. So we build into their brain the fact that you're going to take a few steps in a certain action, whether it's barking or lunging or nipping or actually biting, but you're going to do something to stop me from hurting you, so that they know in their head, this is not a game. We never train our bite work as a game. It's always real. We always have the intention of kind of mentally entering into the combat realm. So even our 8-week-old puppies will know, oh, I better do something or this is not going to stop. So in the real world, when a very determined and violent aggressor attacks me and my dog knows, well, I have no other choice but to fight. Instead of, hey, usually when I fight, I get a treat. So this is,
I'm gonna skip this one.
Yeah. So again, kind of going long-winded, but the good news is I have a passion for it, and I think that we do things really well and for the right things for the right reasons. So that's a huge part of my life now, and I'm really happy about that.
That's cool. Somebody in the chat asked, do you sell dogs? Do you just train dogs? Do you have?
So, short answer is Joel at Fortress Canine, and that's really easy to search, Instagram, website, all that stuff. He actually does something unique in the dog world too, which is, I didn't know this, but a lot of protection dogs or bite dogs or even military dogs, they're created through phases, which would be the breeding is one phase, and then those dogs will get sold. And then you can do initial, like foundational work, like obedience and things like that to a dog. And then they will get sold to a finishing company, which will do the application training, like the bite work or the scent detection. Joel does everything in his facility in Orlando, Florida. So he trains clients on the field. He has dogs that he owns long-term, and he manages his own breeding program. The dogs give birth on site. They select the baby dogs on site. They select certain dogs to keep for the training program and certain dogs to sell as puppies. So Joel does everything. I am very limited in my scope, and that's A, because I'm just starting out pretty recently, but B, because I like to do what's called lifestyle businesses, meaning instead of having a job and then building my life around what that job allows, I'm doing it in reverse. So I'm saying things like, well, I don't want to wake up every morning at 5 o'clock and spray down 12 kennels with piss and shit, and take 12 dogs to the vet, X amount of times a month. I like designing this business so that I can do this anywhere in the world where I have internet. So I have a lot of Zoom clients all around the country where we just hop on for an hour and we'll do video training. And honestly, I train people, and those people train their dogs. That's how we work. So it's easy to interact with a person on Zoom. There's a little bit that I can't do, like the finesse, like, look, this is how hard you pull that. I can explain it really well, but I can't show them with my hands. But honestly, every single video client that I have right now is a multiple term client, and we have no contracts. So everyone that I've worked with has said, oh my God, this is amazing. Let's do more. So I train video clients anywhere in the US with their dogs. I'll do in-person training here at the farm. People can come out to the farm and bring their dog and we'll train them. For now, I focus on primarily on obedience and agility, and we kind of marry those two things together, which is really nice. So not just do what I tell you, like sit, stay, lay, but we also do balancing on a beam or jumping really high, or putting a lot of variables and distractions into the training, whether it's the obedience or the agility. So we have a phrase that we say, obedience is not obedience unless it's also done while there's distractions. So a lot of people say, "Oh, my dog's obedient," and then a stranger comes into the house and the dog's a mess.
Yeah.
Well, they're not obedient then. So
Yeah.
Again, I'm going so long on this, and this has happened on the last few podcasts I was on. We go so long on dogs, we don't get to the other stuff.
Well, we got time
That
if
is
you got
alright.
time.
Do other things.
Yeah. And now, yeah, I kind of wanted to move to the lock picking stuff. If that's,
Sure, yeah.
Because I know so you do like training seminars on that too?
Yeah, that one. So that has been the kind of home base for me for a long time now. We have all sorts of stuff. The easiest thing I can tell you is I'm going to forget some stuff. So just go to the website if you're interested. It's uncensoredtactical.com. I have 2 books published. One is on lockpicking, and one is on, it's called Fuck Bureaucracy. So it's kind of a philosophical and kind of liberty-oriented book. And it's designed to do 2 things, that book. It's to show people a new definition for what bureaucracy is. And it's also to show you, okay, if you're in this thing, what do you do now if you're stuck and this thing is always going to suck? So it's kind of in a weird, I hate the term, but in a kind of weird way, the last few pages of the book are kind of like a self-help. It's designed to just smash the fucking walls of kind of the brainwashing or the programming that you've been told for why you can't go follow your dream and your passion. So that's also a small part of what I do is I consult with people and I help them build their own brand and their podcast and kind of design some things so that they can leave their employment if they choose.
Awesome.
So I do a lot of that. I have a lot of passion for that. And I also do I do in-person lockpicking classes. I'm doing 2 different ones this year. I'm kind of doing our basic, although that's not the best term for it. It's maybe our foundational, which is just a huge spread of skill sets to get through locked obstacles and to get out of restraints like handcuffs and flex cuffs and things. And our second course is that,
handy.
but with a different framing where instead of needing emergency access into or out of something that's locked, we're doing that and we're taking a step back and doing the intel and the recon and planning to make entry somewhere, which is different than being somewhere and going, oh, I got to get in. Crap.
Yeah.
So we're doing kind of a covert entry course. Yeah. Yes, it is a heist course. 100%.
That's awesome.
That is so
That's exactly
cool.
what it is.
Because I listened to a couple of your podcasts. And I like them. That it's like they're like, pick this lock, and before you go to pick that lock, you're going to look around and say, well, is there a window open right here, or is the back door unlocked?
I know.
It's like,
I know. There's a couple chapters in my book that kind of take some shots at I've been called, when I was active in law enforcement, I've been called to a number of scenes where they go, hey, it's locked. I need your help. And I'm like, I'm on the way. And I slowly learned to start asking them questions on scene like, hey, did you check the windows? And they're like, hold on. We'll get back to you.
Troubleshooting a PC. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Yeah. Is it plugged in?
There was that GIF where the cops are like chasing this guy through, like, I don't know, they're going through an alley and you see the one guy fighting to get over the fence. And the other guy walks over next to him and opens up the gate and walks through. Kind of like that.
How,
Brilliant.
So law enforcement, is that how you got into the lockpicking?
Or that.
Or that?
What do you call it, like tactical
no,
entry?
I think we have a lag here.
Oh, do we? Is there a tiny bit?
So my farm internet is slow. So on almost every interview I do, there's a lag.
Oh, okay.
So I'm just going to keep talking so that I can keep this thought going.
Okay.
Yeah, you're coming through.
You're good
I
here.
I did not get into lockpicking because of law enforcement. When I was a kid, my dad came home from an advanced police training course. He was a cop. And he was like, hey, we learned how to break out of handcuffs today. And as a kid, I was like, that's weird. Doesn't that make you a bad person? And this gem stuck with me forever, which was basically his version of, well, if you know offense, you can play defense, basically.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Oh, wow.
And so I learned very early on in my life that security is kind of an illusion. That, yeah, it exists and it does some things, but so I was kind of primed for that at a young age. I kind of found my own way into following up with that. I mean, we saw the Slim Jim and the door trick. If you guys remember that, I'm kind of dating myself. It's not really a practice locksmiths use much anymore. But the Slim Jim in the door and the like the credit card in the door jam. So I saw those things a lot growing up, just because my old man did that and picked those things up on the job.
That's how we used to get in
for
my
me,
parents' room with the credit card.
Yes.
Or butter knife.
or the key that's on the above the door frame, the little emergency key, right? So that's still common today. So I actually got into it very deep when I just got into the military, but it wasn't related to the military. I just had a huge desire for learning a bunch of different tactile skill sets. And that was one of them that I picked up. And then I was like, oh, that's right. I saw all this stuff when I was a kid. And so I kind of reconnected. And I just dove really deep. And that kind of became one of the things that I could always practice. Martial arts were huge, but I always needed a partner to train with. I always needed a teacher somewhere to continue teaching me. And it was hard to maintain that when I traveled so much for the military. I could always bring a set of lockpicks with me and find a padlock somewhere and go. So that's probably the reason I am at the place that I'm at today, was that it's the skill set that I was able to maintain the longest. And I think it's so fucking fascinating.
Matt's going to get rid of his fake rock now. Outside the house. So what, so we were talking about, the master lock, and then there's the deadbolt on the door, and I was jokingly saying because our son's out,
he got his little lock pick set, and he can crack a couple master locks, mostly just by raking on it until it pops.
Sweet.
What's the
is it the same thing as doing a padlock or doing a door deadbolt, just like a generic Value Home Center deadbolt?
Sure. For the most part, most keyed padlocks and most residential front doors are the same. You can use the same method and same tools to get into both.
Oh, wow.
For the most part.
Is there the best lock? Is there such a thing then?
Oh yeah,
the best lock to have.
That's funny. So it's funny. That's actually a really, really good segue. Oh, almost like I paid you for that. It's a really good segue. Most people that I teach, once I give them their first crash course, and I'm like, take this tool, take that tool, put it in. And 10 seconds later, they're like, oh my God, it opened. Almost always the first thing they say is, oh shit, I have to change my locks. And the answer is no. The answer is no, you don't. And I'll tell you why. It depends on what type of attack you want to defend against, where you should set your defense up. And I think for most people, the most appropriate step would be lock your fucking doors and your windows.
Yeah.
Besides that, if you have that covered, it would be physically upgrading the hardware of your door and not necessarily the locking system. So things like getting your front door kicked in, much more likely to be carried out than someone picking open your lock. You can still do things to make the lock picking more difficult, but honestly, I'd be more worried about just an upgraded, a better fit to the door, and then better screws and hardware that hold your latch strike plates in and your hinges in a little better. Honestly, way more worth your time to figure that stuff out.
It reminds me of when we moved into this
our first
flat,
apartment.
our first apartment. We were in the upstairs, and you had gone to work, and your parents came over, and your dad was like, "Oh, this lock, isn't perfect, with the thing." And I understand he just wanted us to be safe,
Yeah.
And I was like, "Buddy, look at this door. If they really wanted to come in,
it's almost an interior door.
Yeah, they're just gonna kick it in, so whatever." But that was young 20-year-old me,
you're invincible.
Invincible, yeah.
I don't think I've ever told this story, but it's very short. I worked a murder scene once when I was a cop, and I remember going, "Oh, I like lockpicking stuff. A bunch of people are murdered in here, and this front door is open." And I looked at it and I went, "Oh, there's a couple of pry marks there." And then I went, "Oh, there's a fucking screwdriver on the ground right next to the front door." And I think I remember telling the detective who had shown up overweight and lazy and angry. And I'm like, "Hey, bro, you want to take a look at this?" And he was like, "Eh." And he kind of kicked the screwdriver to the side, and he's like, "Who cares?" And I'm like, I do. And I bet you the people that are dead probably do. Yeah, you know what? Forget it. Maybe this job's not for me.
Oh my God.
No Willem Dafoe.
What made you get out of the cop scene kind of thing?
Well, I have a small book that I wrote about that. That's the Fuck Bureaucracy book.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Celeste was pushing that hard.
Oh
She kept talking about that.
Yep.
Oh, she's so cool. Her and
we love
Derek have
her,
been so
yep.
nice.
They're both great. Super nice, kind people. Yeah.
I have about 1 million reasons I got out, but almost all of them fit under the umbrella of just a bureaucracy is not the place for me.
Yeah.
And I think by design. So one of the earliest benchmarks mentally that I can remember struggling with, whether it was the military or law enforcement, and again, there's 1 million reasons, but one of them was me wanting to do better at the mission that my bosses have told me to do, but not being allowed to do better.
That's
was
infuriating.
Fucking wild
Wow.
to me. And so the book that I wrote, it's a very short book. It's only 69 pages.
Nice.
Did you do
Intentionally.
that on purpose?
Thank you. But the purpose of the book, the book is from over a decade of just fucking pain of living in a system that was just insanity. So I spent time, I like typing. It's cathartic for me. So I would be on deployments and I would be in my squad car and I would be just fucking typing. And I took notes on everything. And the more I typed and the more things ended up on paper or on a digital file, I was able to just kind of put things into categories and patterns. And that book is a couple of the patterns that have kind of popped up through my life's research. And I saw that no matter what flavor of bureaucracy, all these things will always exist and they all suck. And so that's one of the biggest reasons I got out was I can't live my life as an employee. I just can't fucking do it.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep.
Not to mention, I think that the government is...
Yes. There are times just around the house where, like, the one day Dave's just like, oh, the government. You know, I'm like, oh, what are you thinking about, babe? You know, like, just out of
Nothing
nowhere,
going on.
like,
It's just, I hate the government.
out of nowhere, you know. So what took you into the military then? Was that something you felt kind of pressured to do by family, or was it something you really were like, I'm going to go do this, whatever it is?
Sense of duty.
Oh, I think we're frozen
I think
for a
it's frozen.
second.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. We're going to reconnect.
I thought he was really paying attention.
I know. I was like, oh, he's really reading something. But that's okay. We'll reconnect. It happens sometimes, and he's out on a beautiful farm.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
You know, yeah. And he said silver labs. I don't know
Yeah,
that
I've never
ever
heard of a
silver lab, but I said duty.
No, I said duty.
You said duty.
Yeah, and I'm like, this guy's kind of
Hey,
serious, so I
Mama.
can't. I can't laugh at my own duty.
Yes. How do you get back to him?
I have the meeting open if I can.
Oh, okay.
Try
I
messaging.
don't know if you wanted to try to message him or not. My apologies. I want to say that I have my face on my phone only because my son is questioning about sleeping over somewhere, and I just want to make sure that I'm hearing him. Excuse me. And the dogs too. The dog, the puppers in the back. I can't believe he's like, I have 3 dogs in this room, you know? And I'm like, wow, they're all being quiet. Like, that's nothing like having 3 kids in the room, right? You know? Yeah. I love my children, don't get me wrong. They're quiet sometimes. We were at that mansion. And did you say it or did one of the kids say it? Like, everyone just be quiet for a second.
I did.
And it was like so quiet. Yeah. Oh, David Matson, I work for the government, and you're 100% right. I'm the Ron Yeah, be the Ron Swanson. Yeah. Train your cats for combat. Yeah, I'm wondering if Simon would do that.
Okay.
Hi, Jay. Oh, mentioning the big thing from this week that the Bills signed Von Miller. Now I have to find out who that is. I also saw that they let Cole Beasley go.
Well, we heard that from Ryan, so I don't know.
Yeah,
if
no,
that
it's
was
true because David
is
Googled it after you mentioned that, and David's like, wait, what? Yeah, Buffalo. What? So tell me about Von Miller, Jay, because I need to know who he is. You know. Understandable, Tim. You still got a little one at home, man. I got you. Yeah. Sleep well. I hope everybody's feeling well. You're having a great day tomorrow. Great weekend together. You know, family time. Not so much rebooting. Oh yeah. Yep. Tell him we understand. The whole he's going to reboot and see. Oh boy, there you go, Slither. High-tech bunker beneath it. Abandoned bunkers. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Bunkers. Oh, Jane needs me. Hold on. My children are like,
Yeah, might as well take care of it.
Hi, Celeste. Oh my gosh. So we just got disconnected. You showed up, and he's rebooting his laptop right now.
And we did talk about you because he was talking about his book that you were highly suggesting a few months ago.
Why, honey?
All right. And that's all I got.
Well, why don't you guys,
What else?
You can turn on your light. You can color. You can look at a book or whatever. If you want to.
No, he's trying to come back right now. I guess he has bad internet at his homestead there, so he's going to reboot and try to reconnect.
Sure. Why don't we say 10:45? Okay. How's that for both of you?
I can never think of a story.
Hey, what's going on?
Or
Sorry.
anything.
Hey, Seth. What's up?
You're so good at talking.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. Oh, we can say hi to the friends who have come in since then.
Oh, what kind of play? Cece, what was the play? Also, there's
Seth.
Lyle came in, I think, during.
I didn't hit
get
Lyle?
to say Lyle. Did we get to say the hi Lyle button? Hey,
I think
Lyle.
it was one of the first buttons I hit.
I don't know. Were you here from the? No, because it was Craig and I can't remember. So, all right, we're getting back to it. Back to it. Oh,
Legally
the play
Blonde?
was Legally Blonde. Oh my gosh.
I didn't know they made that into a play.
Yeah, it was like on Broadway. I think they did.
They were
Didn't they do
connected,
that? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Taking a break. Fair stuff. That's cool. Thanks for Lyle was third. Damn it, Craig.
I was first.
Was he? Shit. I'm sorry. I forget. By this time, it all blends together, and want to make sure we said hi to everybody.
All right. Well.
So, no, he was not first, because I know that Craig was happily first today. So I was first as Lyle.
Ooh, that seat's
Hi.
Oh.
seat's very good. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. We are back.
That's so cool. He's so very good.
Aw.
He's a good boy. Do you do anytime in the training? Do you do the dog voice where people? Oh, who's the good boy? Like that.
I certainly do. Yes.
And that's almost like okay, I see. Because you were saying
Because
you
you
don't
can't
use
not
treats,
do
but
that.
you do
Yeah. Yep.
verbally reward.
Oh, that's awesome, Jay. All right, cool. That's good to know. Yes. Oh, yeah. For the folks who just got here, doggo, yepers.
That's so cool. He's just
super
it's not like he's a super special dog. He's just a dog that understands what you want when you want it.
Good, find it. She doesn't speak English, but she's a girl, so she's not offended. But she is, in fact, a girl.
Okay. All right.
Good mama.
Celeste says, hi, Pat.
that's-
Hi, Arrow.
Hey, what's up?
Okay, so we talked about the, being a cop and stuff like that. And so I think
about
we
the
were
military and
talking
stuff.
about the military and what led you to be in the military? Was it something that with, like family
Oh, yeah.
kind of pressured a little bit, or did you want to go
Family pressure, sense of duty, or just nothing else going on?
Yeah, that's a 10-second answer. That's easy. My dad was a cop when I was a kid. His dad was in the military. We were a pretty patriotic family. So unlikely to go from police to military, more likely to go from military to police. And I kind of wanted to do both. So the plan was join the military, get out, be a cop. And I did that. It was great. I got to live my dream job and almost fucking killed myself because of it. Hooray.
Wow. Wow. That's rough. That's really rough. So you left being a cop. What did you do in that time, where you're like, I got to get out of here. I'm done with this. And then what was the next step that you
Yeah,
took?
because you have to have a plan. You can't just...
Yeah. So I was actually growing my website at the time that I left my local law enforcement job. I knew mentally that I was not long for that job. So I was planning, I was preparing, I was saving up some money. I was building up some my brand of information and training. So I was a little prepared. And the last step was that I think I attended a lockpicking course from someone who was in law enforcement and only taught law enforcement. And I attended while I was a cop. I actually paid my own money to go there. And the course wasn't very good. And the guy was saying some things that were largely immoral. Like, hey, this is a room full of cops. Hey, I'm teaching you guys how to do lockpicking. You know, it would be great if you guys like use this to like break into stuff and like pull pranks and stuff. Like, that'd be so cool. We love that. So send me some pictures when you do that. And I thought,
hashtag it's just a
Hashtag on
prank, bro.
Instagram, yeah. Just a
I thought
prank.
that's not the best ethical or moral use of this skill set.
Yeah.
Right, right.
So that being said, he said, "Oh, only special people with badges can buy this special tool that I have." And I'm like, "Okay, great." So I left the course, and I emailed him later, and I was like, "Hey, I'd like to buy that tool that you said I can buy because I attended your course. And also, do you want to do an interview? I have a podcast." And the guy was like, "Send me the link to your podcast." And I did, and I didn't hear from him for months. And I messaged him again. I'm like, "Hey, no big deal, but if you're interested, I'd love to have you on the show. You teach lockpicking, so do I." And he's like, yeah, send me an email from your agency that you work for. That'd be great. And I did. And then a couple like days later, I got a call from Internal Affairs, and they were like, "We know about your website
What?
and your podcast."
Shut
And
up.
I'm like, yeah, no shit. I'm not a fucking secret spy. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's out there.
Oh.
didn't
And
like
they said,
that.
well, they said an anonymous person under a fictitious name called and said that you're teaching criminals how to break out of handcuffs. And
Oh,
I'm going back in my mind, and I'm like, who did I offend? And I'm like, oh, that guy.
Oh.
So
My God.
The subpar
I have a
lockpicking
very,
teacher.
very, very, very strong. No, I don't have the definitive proof, but I'm pretty suspicious of that
Sure.
guy that
Yeah.
that was that refused to sell me. Oh, that's right. I forgot that part. He sent me an email and said, "I will not sell you this product, and how dare you teach the public these skills," is what he said in the email.
Wow.
That was why I drew that very strong connection.
Wow. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So their skills, let's be clear, those are skills, everything that I teach, a 14-year-old could do.
Yeah.
And there are kids on YouTube that teach people how to do these things. So nothing that I teach is necessarily proprietary. Like, it's not secret. Like, if you can buy a padlock at the store, you can take it home, cut it in half, and figure out how it works.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not, there's no trade secrets.
And what I thought about
And-
the handcuff thing is that not always bad people end up in handcuffs.
That's true.
A lot of people
That's
can get a
also
hold
true,
of
right.
handcuffs. We might have
I'm
a
also
pair in the
not-
bedroom.
And I have also never, ever advocating using this skill to play a fucking prank because it's so funny. Send me a picture. I've never
Yeah.
done that. So I'm questioning whose morals are better.
Right.
I think I know the answer.
Yeah. Yep.
So that was the catalyst that pushed me out. That was the last day I was a law enforcement officer, and I knew that most cops, like most humans, are only going to read the headlines. So once my internal affairs, they told me it wasn't an investigation, and that I'm not in trouble, and there were no findings, but they had to look into it. Is what that was their rough verbiage to
Yeah.
me. So they were like,
Yeah.
"You were never really under investigation, but there was a complaint filed, so we had to look into it." And I'm like, "Fuck." So I knew that meant that every single cop in my agency was going to get that in their email inbox. That was going to say, "This guy had an inquiry. Here's what we found. He's got a website and teaches cops teaches people how to break out of handcuffs." And I'm like,
Yep.
"Fuck." Everyone's going to see that and go,
Wow.
wow, what a fucking traitor. And I'm like, so much for getting back up on a call. And I also knew that I was not long for that job. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I just don't even want to walk back into the building. It's not that I did something wrong. It wasn't like
Right.
like I felt guilty. It was, I just know how it's going to play out. And I'm
Yeah.
not really happy anyways. So let's just, instead of starting this business full time when I'm ready, let's just fucking start it now.
Yeah.
Is
Yep.
how that happened.
Wow, that's HR just airs out your shit like that. That's
Yeah, the military and law enforcement both. There's exceptions,
Yeah.
but largely any investigation that does happen, a lot of agencies or units or divisions will have to make that investigation not necessarily public to the public, but they'll have to disseminate it through their agencies. It's like semi-public. So everyone gets to read after everyone else gets in trouble. It's great.
Yeah.
It's really helpful. Government is really a shining stellar example of being ethical and moral, though. So can't blame them.
Yeah. Yes.
They have a monopoly on morality.
Do as they say, not as they do, right?
Is it morality? I thought it was the other word. The
Violence.
D word.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So when did you start a podcast? When did that start? What year? I mean, I'm like, what year is it right now? 2022?
Roughly 2017-ish.
Okay. And you have you kept it the same the whole way? Has it evolved or changed in any kind of way? Like,
Yeah, my what's the word? The way I present information has certainly changed.
Okay.
And I've grown. It started off, so that's a really good question. I haven't gotten into that in a long time, and it's probably time to do that. So I started off Uncensored Tactical with the same foundational principles. I shifted a couple things. Number one, I was initially going to use it to build a bridge between military and law enforcement and the public. So I was going to kind of speak to both camps. Mm-hmm. I no longer do that. I just talk to people about tactics. So that has shifted.
Okay.
Also, I called it Uncensored for two reasons in the beginning. One was I don't want the type of content that I teach about to be censored, meaning if I know a really good technique or tool, I don't want to be told I can't present that. And that's really, really common in military and law enforcement, which is, hey, this works a lot better. And you get told, no, if you teach that, you're going to get fired.
Oh.
So I called it Uncensored in the beginning because I didn't want the content being censored.
Mm-hmm.
If I had good information, I wanted to share that. I also, in the beginning, called it Uncensored because I thought, well, if you say a fucking swear word when you're teaching someone, sometimes they remember it better. And I hardly ever swear now. I hardly ever swear. I hardly ever drink.
It's like
so there have been some
highlighter.
shifts. There have been some shifts along the years.
Yeah.
But I'm still, what's nice about it? I think that's very human, and I think that should happen.
For sure.
I'm still happy. I love sharing the information. I love giving people value. I give away so much fucking value for free. I tried to give everybody the option to get basically like a college level degree for fucking free, whether through my podcast and my YouTube stuff. I answer DMs and I answer very expensive questions for people often that a lot of people will come to my courses or pay for consulting for. I really like doing it.
So you love what you're doing.
Answering expensive questions. That's awesome. I think, who are we talking about?
That's so
we were
great.
talking about Tim last week about undervaluing yourself and your skills. And a lot of people start out with that where they'll work for beer or, and it's just not worth your time what you're doing, but you like doing it. And,
want to help people.
But then you can't live on it.
And he was raising it, the man that we had on last week, Toolman Tim, and he was talking about how he got into, helping people with, by doing things and he started like YouTube and handyman service kind of thing. And at first it was cool. I'll trade you this, or he bid on a job and low bid, and he got the job, and he was like, I hated every minute working there because I was doing so much and I knew I didn't charge what I should have, for my time. But I think a lot of people have that, but if you're really loving what you're doing and it's
hard not to just do it for free.
Yeah, I'm sure. Hey, Phil Peg, what's going on? Happy Friday. So when you were rebooting, we were talking real quick about Silver Labs. Is that something uncommon?
I've never heard of that.
I, honest to goodness, have never heard of a Silver Lab.
Yeah. It is not very common. I don't know a ton about breeds. I know quite a bit about what we do in our specific niche. But from what I understand, and I'm happy to be wrong, Silver Labs are uncommon. Some of them will have health problems like like allergies and dry skin and stuff, something to do with their coat.
Yeah.
But I've also heard the phrase that there's no such thing as a silver lab. There's just a lab that has been mixed with a Weimaraner. And I'm like,
okay.
I don't fucking care either way.
But that helps me picture it better,
the
too.
The Weimaraner, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, oh, those dogs are so pretty. They're silver and shiny, and they're just so beautiful. Do you have a hard time when it's time to send these pups to a family? I mean, how is it for you when...
So I train historically. I have trained clients in person. I've trained them on video. I've gone to the field with my dog as a student. I've also run some training as an instructor. I have not sold a dog yet, and I'm actually in the middle of my first training without the owner, so doing kind of like a board and train.
Okay.
So that's what I have. A couple dogs that I'm dealing with right now, and my schedule went from a couple video sessions a month to the next 45 days. I'm completely booked out. I can't take any more work.
Wow.
So it's good, but part of that is I now have multiple dogs to feed in the morning, multiple dogs to walk, multiple dogs to train. So I'm very, very busy. But this is my first dog that I'm rehoming that the business now owns. So a lot of the contracts that that Joel from Fortress Canine writes, a lot of them are very, like most of what he does, it starts with a very strong foundation. And one of the things in our contract is Joel reserves the first right of refusal. So if you don't want your dog anymore and it's from our company, his company, I operate a franchise. So if you don't want your dog that's from his company, you have to give him the chance to buy it back before you give it to someone else. It's actually very smart because a lot of our dogs are protection trained. So we want to make sure they're safe for who they go to. We also need to make sure that their training is up to date before they're released to someone else. So this one is being rehomed with us, which was a first right of refusal. So the person said, you know, I love the dog. I want to keep it, but our home life is just so fucking busy. Yeah. He's like, I know you guys will retrain it. So that's the dog that I have right now. One of my dogs that I'm housing. I don't think it'll be difficult just because there's so many clients and so many dogs. And I do understand that I'm giving someone a tool, just like I understand that I love this one over here in the camera to death. And her job is to die in place of me. And I will be very sad when she dies, and I will get a new dog the next day, and I will start all over again. So it's tough mentally. Of course I'll be fucking sad when my dog dies. I don't think I'll be crying when I sell this one. I think I might own her for about a month, maybe 2 before I sell her. I'm estimating that's how long her retraining will take.
Yeah.
And I don't think that will be a tearjerker. I think I'll say, great, here's how you do it. See ya. Yeah.
Now you mentioned retraining. Is there anything like when people get a dog that has already been trained, do you recommend that they sharpen their tools, like with the dog, like have them come in every once in a while, or do you just depend on that person to like be good at what, like keeping the dog in that mind state, or state of mind?
I guess, I can answer that 10 different ways. Let me start with this. So a huge misconception in the dog world is if you get training for your dog, you now have a product that has been upgraded. That's not the case. Just like sharpening a knife or just like shooting a gun and it getting dirty on the inside, if you don't maintain a state of obedience, that will go away. Just like any skill. So your dog gets skills put into it, and then you take the dog back to your home and you don't work any of those skills, and then they go away.
It dulls,
so that's first and foremost. A lot of people think of dogs too, like they'll think, oh, my dog's not good at this. I just got a dog that happens to be not good at that thing. And that's not the case either. None of the dogs that we have are good at tasks until we teach them the task. And I can take a dog that's really obedient, and just like the client that I had, we can turn it not obedient. And I can also take a dog that's not obedient, and I can build obedience in. There are limits, and there's kind of different spectrums for different breeds. There's different spectrums for, how much time you need to spend on certain tasks with certain dogs, with certain backgrounds. Yeah, there's limits and scales in there. But for the most part, yes, you should be training your dog if you want an obedient dog, but we're also not here to pet shame you. If you have a dog that hangs out on the couch and you're happy with that, fucking go nuts. Give it all the treats, all the pets, all those table scraps. I don't care, and I support that. So and Joel taught me that, and again, I mentioned him like 10 times. I'm thrilled to be collaborating with him. But I really like that about him.
Nice. No pet shaming.
It's like pit bulls love the taste of children. You can't really just train that out of them.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. There's an exception to that, which is if you have a dog and the dog is aggressive to other people, that's a problem.
Yes.
Hands down. So with the exception of that, if you want to train your dog with treats, train your dog with treats. If you want to have a sport dog, go have a sport dog. If you want to work your dog 75 hours a week doing advanced Olympic sport jumping training, go do it. Go nuts.
Yeah.
You know, if you want just a dog that hangs out behind the cash register at work, do that. So we support that, and I think that's great.
Yes. Dogs. Okay, so we got a cat about a year ago, and
I can't help you.
Soulless bastards.
But no, there's such a difference, you know, because I look at the cat and oh my gosh, I love him so much, and I'm like, come here, let's snuggle, you know, and he's just like,
yeah, F off, I'm going over here.
He turns around and puts his tail up at me, you know, and I'm just like, okay. Like my mom was here today, and I'm like, look at the cat, you know, and then he jumped off me. I'm like, on his terms, you know, when he wants to snuggle. But he does. He offers snuggles and cuddles and a lot less maintenance than, for right now, we have 3 kids and we're homeschooling, and it's easier to have a cat for us right now. Like our dog passed away back in like 2016. So it's just easier now having the cat than.
That was 6 years ago.
Yeah, it was a long time. Wow. Like that was a long time ago. Yes. Alan says that cats are highly susceptible for diabetes because his cat is the diabetic cat. So, okay. So like before the military and stuff, what was life like for you? You know, I mean, you had a cop as a dad. God. What was that? I mean, were you like, you know, woo, police and everybody's wrong and bad.
Is this like an offshoot of the How Did You Find Liberty?
Yeah.
I guess, sure.
If you're in jail, it's because some brave, heroic cop saw you breaking the law, which makes you a bad human, obviously, was, you know, life.
Yeah.
No, look, let me give some credit where credit's due. My dad was a cop for most of his life. Spent about 30 years doing cop work. And still to this day, he's a raging statist. Yes. However, I did learn a lot of things from him that you can't learn in the police academy. I learned a lot of things from him that question the status quo for policing. So I was very happy about that as a kid. Florida's prone to hurricanes, and I often saw like state of emergency, and I saw, you know, water systems and electric systems going down left and right. And I do remember as much as I think, without a doubt and unapologetically, I think government is evil, period. I think most of humanity has been hoodwinked into believing that is good and necessary. So as much as I believe that, I did see my dad with my own eyes when the power went out and the water went out and the whole city was a mess. I do remember him going to some of our more what would you call it? Neighbors in need. Yeah. So people that were old or, you know, sick or didn't have a lot of money. And I remember him saying, like, we have pallets and pallets and pallets of bottled water at the police station. He's like, I'm going to this person's house to deliver, you know, a free couple cases of bottles of water. I'm going to this person's house to deliver some frozen food. Like while you can be a statist, you can still do whatever's possible in your realm to make life a little bit better for some people. Yeah. So I don't subscribe to the ACAB. I was a cop, and I was stuck. I was lied to. I was told that I would be helping people, and that wasn't the case. Mm-hmm. So I understand how some of that programming works. And I also know that some of the ACAB crowd, that's a very strong percentage of 100%. Mm-hmm. And I know that every cop I worked with, even the ones that were kind of scumbags, when a call goes out that there's a kid and he's being kidnapped, you stop what you're doing, and everyone loves that case because cops spend so much fucking time dealing with crimes that don't have victims and crimes that are bullshit and crimes that are criminal against criminal. So we love what's called, I haven't talked about this in so long, cops love a legitimate victim crime because they get to help an actual victim.
Right.
It's a problem that's the only game in town. You should be able to choose your service that protects you. But when there is a case where there's a real victim that's dealing with a real aggressor, most of the cops I know love to help with that because they go, you know what, this person really needed it, and we were able to get them that help. Yeah. Okay, so trying to steer clear of the politics here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Politics, but
you're in a chat room with a bunch of anarchists walking on eggshells.
Me too. And I am definitely an anarchist. 100%. Let's clear that up too. I'm definitely an anarchist.
Yeah.
That's great. How did you get there? Was that just?
Oh Christ!
I mean, I'm sorry.
So
You don't have to
that I'm
talk about it
older-
if you don't want to.
No, who was I on the other day? Oh, you guys know the Seaburn Art podcast or the Instagram page? They do all the characters, or they draw like the art characters of the tactical people.
It sounds familiar.
No.
But
I was on their show, and
you're better. At
I
that
saw you were
stuff
on
than I
Biting
am.
the Bullet. Those guys. I love.
I
those
was on
guys.
there recently. Yeah, super cool. I've known them for a long time.
They're fun.
So I was on another show recently where they were fucking digging into my like past and my family history, and I was like, I will answer that begrudgingly, but here we go. So no, that's fine. How did I end up being an anarchist? It was a long path. I knew as I was brainwashed like most of humanity, and not intentionally, but just that's the world we live in. So I remember thinking as a child, this is unique. I remember thinking, oh, this is so great. Someone stole my bike, and my dad's gonna go get it back. And I thought, that's cool. And I thought, I have to be a cop when I grow up, because how can I care for my family if I don't have the moral right to go investigate a crime and make things right? And I thought, ooh. And then I also thought, well, wait a second. That doesn't seem fair.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why can't someone else's dad go find the bike and bring it back? Like, why does it have to be a dad with a badge that can only right the wrongs of the world?
Right.
And so I remember thinking that there were clearly different classes of human. And I remember thinking, well, does that make other humans like less? So all these anarchist questions flew through my brain at a very young age. And very, very, very quickly they were stamped out. Just from society, not necessarily from my family. Just that's the world you live in, right?
Yeah.
Well, cops are cops and not cops are not cops. It's just the world you live in. So I remember asking these questions and not having an answer, and otherwise kind of, rationalizing every single question that I had. So it started very young, and I'm fucking shocked that I beat this brainwashing. I think we're up against $1 trillion a year propaganda machine. So I don't know how fucking anybody escapes. That's wild. So I like my anarchist friends a lot.
All right.
Yeah, we're few and far between.
Wow.
So the bureaucracy was a big part of it. I remember one of the tests that I had when I was at the counter drug unit for the Coast Guard was we were required to know verbatim the 4th and 5th Amendment for the Constitution. And like any good government employee, I was like, I'm going to be the best at understanding this. And I said, great, how do we do that? Well, we look up the source document. And I went, great, let's read the Constitution. And I had already sworn an oath to the Constitution. And 3 years later decided, oh, maybe I should read that. And then my brain went, ooh, that hurts. That's a problem. Shouldn't we be reading that before we swear an oath to it?
Yeah.
Anyways, I read it. So I read it and I thought, okay, so I can board any fucking boat anywhere I want for any reason, right? Cool. That's what Congress tells me, 14 USC 89 Alpha is the code that we use that gives us authority to board basically fucking anyone's boat anywhere in the world for any reason ever. And then I was like, wait, I have to memorize that specific congressional code that gives us permission to do that. And I thought, but they also make me memorize the 4th and 5th Amendment, one of which, no unreasonable searches and seizures shall be carried out. And I thought, well, a blanket fucking approval to board any boat anywhere to search for anything kind of seems unreasonable. And then I went, these two things don't go together.
Right.
And I thought, And of course, everyone else, including my bosses, were like, no, it makes sense. And I went, okay, but okay, well, who gave Congress the authority to make that rule if it kind of doesn't sound constitutional? Oh, checks and balances and Supreme Court. And of course, I'm in my 30s now, so I know how that really works. Which is, it's not designed to work.
Right.
Well, that Schoolhouse Rock explains it all.
Thank you. Do you guys know who? I'll get off track here for a second.
That's great.
Do you
We
guys
love
know
to
who
do that.
Corbett Report is?
Yes, I
James
know
Corbett.
the name.
Oh.
So it's really, really, really big researcher, podcaster, documentary creator. Not to be confused with the Colbert Report.
No,
Definitely
Right.
that's
not.
what you were thinking of.
No, it's not what I was thinking.
So I was just listening today, and I sent it to one of my anarchist friends. He was going to a party with a bunch of doctors, and I was like, oh, listen to this first. I sent him like a 30, 40-minute clip, and it explains how Rockefeller is involved in medicine. And, yeah.
Wow.
And from what I remember, and I've listened to this podcast episode several times. So Rockefeller basically co-opted townships and state governments, and in the U.S. there was still kind of a big fight between, I guess, what do they call it, allopathic and homeopathic medicine. One of which was old world, one of which is heavy pharmaceuticals. And Rockefeller stepped in with a fucking ton of money and paid schools and said, we're going to just give you money that's a grant money, and you can build hospitals in your colleges, and you can build medical programs. Isn't that great? And the colleges all went, oh shit, that's a lot of money. And Rockefeller basically went, it's free money, but we need to make sure it's being used correctly. So we're kind of going to, check over the curriculum and see what you're teaching, and kind of, basically retain veto status on curriculum we don't like. So goodbye old world medicine.
Wow.
And so now doctors basically had to go through the Rockefeller company to get their certification. They had to go through the government and Rockefeller to, for their training. They had to go through them for their licensing. All the medicine was sold through Rockefeller. So just unbelievable monopoly on medicine.
Wow.
Damn, I thought it was just banking.
I had no idea about the I had no idea.
It's starting to make sense now, though, the last few years.
And so when you look at big businesses and they have waste product and they go, how could we use this waste product? I don't know, pump it into people's fucking IV bags and see what happens. And they go, oh, well, this one time it cured this one type of tumor. Weird. But, 99 times it gave people worse cancer. So let's sell that. Yeah. And we'll just make some stuff. Fuck this crazy planet. Honestly, I used to be scared, like maybe 2-3 years ago. I was like, talking about this shit is probably going to get me axed, by our world leaders or, someone. Mm-hmm. And now I don't fucking care anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a weird fucking world. I'm surprised I've been I've been alive this long, really.
It's kind of like, if I'm going to get killed for talking about this, well, maybe this isn't a world I want to be in anymore.
Right.
Yeah. What's the Christ?
It is right. We're okay.
Anyways,
so
let me bring that full circle. So I sent that to my friend and said, hey, listen to this, and then have fun at your doctor party tonight.
Oh man, I forgot the beginning of that story.
Oh gosh, right.
You go to the party and you just look around. You guys are all bought and paid for.
Right. Do you have any doctor friends that you really feel like you can trust or talk to?
I actually really like our doctor, except that I think he thinks our life expectancy is like 50. 45, 50.
Yeah.
Do you have any? Because I wonder, does anyone really have a doctor friend who is really willing to just be honest about shit?
Ooh.
I don't know.
But I think it's just like anything else. It's like you said, that's how they're trained. Mm-hmm. It's not that they're purposely being, diabolical. It's just
that they're
that's what they went to school for. Yeah. That's what they studied for.
And that's how it's. Pat, what are your thoughts on the Earth being round or
my gosh,
flat?
Why do you have to keep bringing this up?
I'm sorry, we had a flat earther come on,
yeah,
and so now I'm curious.
Like 500 of their followers still watching us.
Okay, I'm just curious, Steve.
If you guys aren't on board with the disc Earth rotating on the back of 4 different turtles
he's gonna call
that rest on a huge elephant,
okay.
Then that's a what was that? Terry Pratchett reference.
Okay.
Remind me of the Gunslinger. Wasn't there a Stephen King thing where it rides on the back of tours or something?
I don't know.
I read those.
Oh, that was your your Tower, whatever Tower series.
The Dark Tower.
Oh, read the Dark Tower series. Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Discworld. Yes. It was interesting to hear.
Love it.
It was very interesting. I've never talked to someone who seriously believed it, and he wanted to come on, and so we had him on. And but it was very interesting. I'm just curious about people.
So I'll give you my
people's
honest
thoughts.
answer. I don't know and I don't care is my completely honest answer.
Yeah. I feel like, you know what? I feel like I believe it's round just because, but
sense.
know what? That's what we've been told.
I do see your. I've been starting to read your comments. I didn't realize I should have been reading those the whole time. But the Earth is a lie. Yeah, there's no evidence that we're not in a fucking computer program right now
Donut
either.
Earth with
So I don't give a
sprinkles.
shit
Yeah.
what shape it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wondered for them because they're so like, it is like they fight for it to be flat. And I'm like, I just, like there's so many other things that, you could be fighting for talking about that really impact someone's life. But hey, there must be something. And I think it was something about just like being.
Yeah, Hollow Moon. Someone just wrote,
like,
fuck yeah.
There's a lot of
grounded
fun
and stuff like
that.
that. Yeah. So I don't diss anyone for thinking anything differently.
Yeah, question everything.
Yeah, question everything, especially if the government has told it to you.
I agree, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not going to make fun of you for thinking the Earth is flat. Great. You know how many people for hundreds of years went,
that's
look,
just the way it
clearly the sun revolves around the Earth. That's the way this works.
Oh,
I'm still not set on that one. Like, I think everything's, spheres, but I mean, if you take the solar system thing, that model that everybody has, and instead of holding it by the sun, just hold it by the Earth and spin it around. Maybe it works like that.
Yeah, who knows? Who really knows? Who really knows? But I feel like if people can believe whatever they want to believe. It was really interesting though to hear, to talk to somebody who
I like thought experiments like that.
And I got
what's really
intrigued.
nice about flat earthers, honestly?
Hi, Wayne.
The nice thing about flat earthers is that they most of them don't want to violently control me and coerce me and extort me.
There you go.
And,
Yeah.
Fucking
They're trying to help you.
super cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. we had a great time. I mean, like the people in the chat were super nice. Like everybody was like, it was
I'll
fine.
listen.
Yeah.
If there's
will.
cool evidence, I'll listen.
That's it. Yeah, we were super
and he came
open
with the
to-
slideshow,
He did
too,
come
so-
with the slideshow. Yep.
Yeah.
And some of it was, like,
Let me get
really
you guys
fun.
off track. What do you guys think about the moon?
I think it's pretty much.
The moon.
It's there.
I believe in the moon.
Yeah.
I
Sorry, I
do.
didn't phrase that right. What do you think about the moon landings?
Oh, that's a fun one.
Okay.
I know, different story.
I'm right. I'm like just as like in the middle of the road as I am on like 9/11.
I have a real like.
There was a lot of incentive for us to prove that we did it with the Cold War and everything.
Yeah,
It seems like a pretty
question it.
huge technological feat for the time period when they're still using like punch cards and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm like. We were listening to something, and I'm like, so, oh my gosh, like, people really believe that they were sending these messages down to television,
Like live video.
And what year was that?
Yeah, and 3 years ago I couldn't pull off a live stream.
Yeah,
the
and YouTube
technology.
always buffers on me. Like, come on. I'm not really sure. I have to question it. I really, really do. I do. Yep. What do you think about it?
So,
Why doesn't China go?
yeah, great question. A big part of I'm split. So a big part of me thinks, look, I guess if I was sometimes when normies ask me, I'll tell them, maybe we went, maybe we didn't, but at least the first time or the second time, or maybe all 6 times, whatever, at least the first time or the second time, if it happened, it didn't happen the way that we saw. Like, I think that's a pretty minimum baseline.
I like that. Yeah. I think the truth is always a little bit in the middle.
Yeah, I have no. If even today, we're looking at fucking Ukraine and Russia, and you think the fucking story that our government is telling us about that is true and accurate? So I don't think the moon would be any different. It's one of the. I like it because it's a weird conspiracy that is a positive conspiracy. It's like, we did this great thing, and it's like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
And all the other ones are like, oh, government did this terrible thing, and this terrible
Killed
thing, and that
5,000
terrible
people.
thing.
Oh,
So it's a unique one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
Well, I think what it was is that the alien moon bases on the other side of the moon, they went there, and then they're like, don't come back.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing too. So you have astronauts saying in their own words on recordings, like, I hear weird music, and like, oh, look at those weird green lights flying around the moon, and no one
There's a lot of
everyone's like,
crazy
you better
quotes
believe
like
the
that, yeah.
astronauts. And I'm like, okay, what about like the crazy lights and the music and you know, the obelisks? And they're like, what? And I'm like, well, yeah, that's what the astronauts said. Do we believe them or not? And they're like, huh? Like like that little dog look. Like,
Yeah. Oh,
tilt
yeah.
head?
Yeah, I swear. Like one of them said, like there's stuff we're not allowed to talk about. Like he said that, and it's like, well, that's weird.
That's weird.
oh yeah, what's his face say? Truth protective layers. What's the guy? Armstrong? Buzz?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Some-
Buzz.
something?
Yeah. Buzz.
Aldrin.
He gave that speech.
Neil Armstrong.
Completely
Wait.
turned into a shut. What do you call it? A recluse. Didn't do any interviews. And when he finally does an interview, he's like this super secret mystery, and he's like creepy about it. And he's like, "You guys are gonna figure out sooner or later that that's not what it seems." And I'm like, "That's odd, coming from a national treasure who accomplished something really odd."
Right?
And I watch, you know, and it comes back to the government stuff too, which is like understanding the source document, which was, for me, it was, you know, reading the Constitution and you know, seeing people's sources and asking questions. And so I watched the actual, what do they call it? The post kind of debrief of the first moon landing, when the 3 astronauts are sitting there at the conference table and the reporters are asking them questions. And I'm like, oh shit, those people do not look like they know exactly what the fuck they're talking about. I'm like, this looks like a PR event, not a evidence-based, you know, debriefing event.
Wow.
Have you ever seen that?
I have not. I'm interested, though.
There's one clip that's taken really, it's taken out of very short context, but it shows the 3 astronauts, Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong. I can't remember, and the other guy that stayed in the spaceship around the moon but didn't land.
Oh, that poor guy didn't.
And
nobody remembers.
The reporter asks, I know, poor guy. The reporter asks, you know, when you were standing on the moon and you looked up at the night sky, you know, did you just see the most beautiful stars ever? And these 2 astronauts look at each other and they go, you know, I don't really remember seeing any stars. And I'm like, first of all, that's a fucking red flag.
Wow, that's weird.
That you wouldn't go, holy shit. Like,
yeah, like I'm on the fucking moon.
You think there wouldn't be a lot of light pollution up there.
Then the third guy, Michael Collins, I think is his name. The third guy goes, yeah, I don't think I saw any. And the other 2 were like, you were in the capsule.
Gosh.
And he's like, next question.
I mean, from the capsule.
And I'm like, huh.
That's great.
And they're still today. And you can still see this today in modern interviews. And I'm sure they'll context the shit out of it. But there's modern astronauts that were up in the ISIS. And Neil deGrasse Tyson's famous for this too. He's like, the science is, when you're in outer space and there's no atmosphere, you can always see stars, even when you're looking right at the sun. Like, everything is stars. And that's weird because Neil Armstrong and all those other guys that went to the moon, they were like, man, when you look out that window, it's just everything's black. I'm like, oh,
that's really
okay.
weird.
So
even if I go to my parents' house, it's just like I can see the Milky Way.
Because his parents live out in the middle of nowhere, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, which one is it? Is everything black, or is everything a blanket of stars? And even astronauts today will, like in rare interviews, will say, yeah, I know, we're cruising in the International Space Station and we look out and just nothing. I'm like, okay, which is it?
Yeah.
Stars everywhere.
Neil's not lying to us.
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse, not Neil Armstrong.
Oh, yeah. Boy. You watch that interview and you will get bored. And they're bored. Okay, they should have been as excited as a junior on prom night. You would think they would be excited because no matter even your nerves
history
of being like in front of other people, you were just the first people on the moon. You know, it just doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, Alan.
There's a real good documentary I've seen a couple times called "Wagging the Moon Doggy." It's pretty good.
Oh, okay.
It's really, really long, and I watch it a couple times a year. And they had a quote in there, I think it was in that one, where they said, the problem is not like, oh, there's a timestamp on the photo that's wrong. And the problem is not, you know, oh, we didn't have fucking Bluetooth back then, so how did this camera pan and tilt at the right time? And the problem is not like, what's that field, Van Allen radiation belt that you can't get through. Like, the problem is that each one of those things is a drop of evidence in an overflowing bucket of bullshit. Like, it's not like, so some people like to rest their case on this one little thing, like the photos aren't real. Okay. And all this other shit. Like, it's huge.
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm fucking.
It's just all of
No,
it.
that'd be fun to spend some time,
Yeah.
digging through.
Because I mean, I have as a kid. I mean, we were taught, and it was like, yeah, but I'm not huge into conspiracies.
Yeah.
But that's definitely one that I'm like,
There's a lot riding on it, and it was very
Yeah.
unlikely. Interesting.
are you one to follow conspiracies? I mean, do you pick and choose like ones that like lizard people? Nah, but like
sure.
JFK,
So-
yeah.
I think, honestly, I think I'm somewhere between the government always tells the truth and the government is run by lizard people. Like,
Okay.
I don't think I'm not at either of those extremes.
Just right in the middle there, yeah.
But it's weird. I'm open to seeing evidence, even if it's really fucking weird evidence, because again, I remember for hundreds of years, people thought that the sun went around the earth. And I'm like, okay, show me this weird evidence and I'll watch.
Yeah.
And I'll digest it for a while. And I'm still going to live my life. I'm still going to be nice to people. I'm still going to build value. I still like
Right.
writing. I still like playing with dogs. Like, if you want to show me something that questions the foundation of what I believe to be, the real world around me, cool. I'll
Yeah.
dig it.
Yep.
But I don't, to answer your question, no, I don't believe every conspiracy. But I'm open to weird stuff.
Yeah, I like to learn. I'll listen. Some of it's too much for me, so I'm like, put that one on the back burner.
A lot of
for
it
now.
is like, even if you're right, what am I going to do with this information? And also,
Yep.
like,
So
if
here's a
you're
question,
right,
too.
I don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to check out.
I'm gonna check out.
Yeah. So a lot of people that I would, consider normies, they read a newspaper headline
Yeah.
and the article is like way different. Well, there's kind of the same thing for the conspiracy world, which is, lizard people rule the world. And you're like, that headline's bullshit. But a lot of times they'll go, well, listen, there was this fucking planet called Nibiru that every 10,000 years circles past Earth. And like, if you look at the Aztecs, they have stuff that's like 10,000 years old. And it shows dudes in fucking rocket ships carved into rocks 10,000 years ago.
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, you have my attention. I'm not, packing up the farm yet, but you have my attention.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fun stuff. I love that ancient aliens and like the prehistoric civilizations and like their stories and stuff like that, and their where they say they came
it's been
from.
around for a long time. It's very
But then you're getting to the
interesting.
point where there's no written history. Like, they didn't have language or writing, so it's like it's stories passed down. But yeah, I love that kind of stuff. Like,
Yep. Oh, they're
If you love that
robots.
stuff, have you ever seen Graham Hancock's content?
no.
Oh, dude, you should write that name down.
I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. Please don't leave
right.
until I get to come back.
No, I'll try.
Okay.
We won't change the subject
No,
at all.
And Mary's the talker. I've gotten better at it. I've gotten better. But like when we first started doing this, and she would have to step off, then it would just be me and the guest staring at each other awkwardly because I don't know how to, even in real situations, have a conversation. What was the name of the guy that you just said? Graham?
Graham. Graham
Graham.
Hancock. Hancock.
I'm gonna check that
He was
out.
on Joe Rogan a couple times. That
Oh,
was
nice.
a huge boost for him. But dude, his big area of focus is civilizations like pre 10,000 years ago.
Yeah.
And the mainstream archaeologists claim there was no language back then. There
Yeah.
were no advanced tools back then. There was no cross-continent travel back then. Like, you weren't crossing oceans back then.
Yeah.
So that's mainstream archaeology. That's their claim. That's what everyone learns in school in the U.S. growing up. Graham says, well, there's kind of some evidence that there could be huge modern civilizations before that got fucked really bad.
Yeah.
And there was a huge, and modern science says there was a huge event about 10,000 years ago.
There's a lot of flood
called-
things.
Yeah, the flood stuff too. And almost every single major religion has a huge flood story.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's funny too, that people, will believe in a certain religion and that certain events happen. And then they go, and they just don't consistently apply that to the rest of their life. They go, well, civilization must have started then. Okay, well, what about before the flood? Like, So his big push is, we are a species with amnesia. This is his quote that he says all the time. So we have forgotten where we come from. We've forgotten what prior civilizations have done. And him and a lot of other pioneers in this field are pulling up stuff like we talked about. I made a joke about carvings and rocks, but there are ancient megalithic, like huge rock sites, and you have not just Egypt, you have South America, you have Central America, you have China, you have the Middle East, you have all sorts of places around the globe that their architecture, like the way they move big, heavy-ass stones, and the way they carve things into them, and the way they stack them, they're like fucking identical.
Yeah, that's
like all around the globe. And this is this is what our elementary school teachers have told us. Right, isolated. They never talk to each other. They don't travel. There's no such thing as a boat
separately.
that could cross the ocean.
Yeah.
So now we see. I mean, now that we have the digital age, you can put a photo and a photo and a photo from all around the world, and you can compile them, by the thousands, and go, holy shit, look at that pattern, which you couldn't do a couple hundred years ago. So we're resting on the foundation of 100-year-old education, when we now have the internet that we can just pull a ton of data from that just proves everything is not what we seem or what it seems.
Kirk, I heard that one too. Kirk said the flood was the breaching of the Bosphorus, flooding the Black Sea by 400 feet and wiped out coastal villages. And yeah, I heard something about that, how it was just like this like a bunch of people came into these new lands telling the story of a flood. And that's kind of how that began, like, because it happened pretty quick, and suddenly their whole villages are underwater.
I just came back, and so I'm like,
oh yeah,
catching up.
Oh yeah, we're on to ancient aliens now.
Oh no, that's fine.
There is no catching up. That's gone.
No. Gary wondered your thoughts on the Easter Island monuments.
Oh, that was one of my earliest first, not conspiracies, but one of my earliest first kind of megalithic mysteries.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, that's fun stuff.
When I started learning about it, I got pissed off because the only thing I can learn about it was from, like, I got into that really early, like years and years ago, where it was the only place that you can find history documentaries were on the History Channel.
Oh.
So I'm like, well, shit. Like, I started learning, and I'm like, great, next. I'm like, Discovery Channel. I'm like, basically the same thing. Next. Like, there was nothing. So I liked Easter Island a lot. I wish there was more study on it.
Yeah. And the History
I
Channel
haven't really tapped that one in a while.
The History Channel really jumped the shark.
Oh, jumped the shark. Aliens. No. Did we talk about, do you believe in aliens?
I feel like we've been dancing around aliens, but we never actually stopped on them.
Did we talk about the aliens? Did we say, do you believe that there's something else out there?
Pumapunku, yeah. Filth pig. Aliens, I'll give you a short answer on that one. Some of mine have been very long tonight.
Oh, that's fine.
Short answer on aliens, I think mathematically, almost a certainty that yes, they're out there and they're somewhere. That's my short answer.
Yeah. And also mathematically, it would be hard for them to find us, because it's a pretty big place out there.
Pretty big.
And if they did,
what's cool?
Would they really want to hang out?
What's really cool about that is I recently discovered what they call the Fermi paradox. Have you heard of that? Oh, that's it, right? It's we're so big and the universe is so old and so large that if there were aliens, we would have known by now, is basically the Fermi paradox.
Oh, okay.
But there's also something called there's answers to the Fermi paradox. And there's hundreds of answers. Like, well, it could be this, but that, or it could be that, but this. Mm-hmm. There could be aliens here, but we don't see them. Or they could be existing, but in a form that we don't understand. Or they were here a couple hundred years ago, and now they're not. Like, so there's all these answers to it that are just really fucking interesting. Is it Isaac Arthur on YouTube? Him and John Michael Gaudier both have YouTube channels that talk about that stuff, and they have compendiums that go through like dozens and dozens and dozens of answers to that. Like who the fuck are you to say there's no such thing as aliens? It could be this or that or this or that. So I've gone down that rabbit hole.
That's really
not
interesting.
getting that time back.
No, not getting that time.
Yeah, I listened to a time.
It was good.
I listened to
a good time. It was a
podcast called Time Suck, where he'll dive into the rabbit holes and then, give us what he figured out. But he's very opinionated on it. It's been kind of bothering me lately. But yeah,
Well,
I love
we've
that
gone
show.
down some rabbit holes. One time we got really into Elvis.
Oh,
me and
one
you.
night, yeah.
One night we were
All right,
just like,
all right.
Yeah, we're watching it. We're like,
yeah.
okay, we see the.
I'm like, no wonder girls were throwing their panties and bras at him. Holy shit, young Elvis? Damn, like, I don't know. Like, is he still alive? Who knows? I don't know.
Probably not at this point.
Well, not at this point,
But
but
Tupac and Biggie
I like to
definitely
think
still alive.
Tupac's still alive. I
and
do.
John McAfee.
And John McAfee for sure. I like to think he and Janice are on an island hanging out.
Oh, yeah, and
drunk.
what's his name?
Yeah.
Oh, Epstein.
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 No,
Oh.
he's dead. Good.
He's
Good riddance.
I,
he didn't kill himself though.
Actually, I've seen some pictures where he's still on the island. He's back on the island.
No, wow.
Epstein. Yeah. They had that.
look, if
drum
I
roll.
ran a super secret worldwide cabal of like elite crazy pedophiles, and
Yeah.
one of my crazy pedophile buddies was in prison, I'd get him out of prison and ship him back to Pedophile Island.
Pedophile Island.
Right? Is that what they call it? I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah,
Might as well.
I have no
yeah.
reason to believe he's dead. I remember the moment I was on a deployment and America had a big, announcement on TV, and they were like hyping it up. And we were on a bridge. I was on a Dutch ship at the time. And I turned the TV on, and they're like, postponing, hold on. And I'm like, fuck. So me and my buddies were staying up like late into the night. And then finally, was it Obama? Got on, and he's like, we got bin Laden, I think, right? That was Obama, right?
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
was it?
I remember him being in the war room.
Yes,
I think.
yes.
Yeah.
I
had
was
a very-
thinking the other guy.
Bush said mission
Who's saying-
accomplished, but
I had my doubts.
Okay, yeah, there's.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had
Oh
my
my
doubts
gosh.
that had fucking conspiracy written all over it from
Mm-hmm.
well, we found him, but he was hiding in plain sight.
Yeah.
And
in this huge.
well, all the SEALs that
compound.
found him, they're now dead. And we found him, but we didn't bury him exactly. But
dumped him in the ocean.
we kind of also killed him on accident. So I'm not buying that.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, he was just living large in this compound.
Large.
We couldn't find him anywhere, right?
Yeah, we couldn't find him because they didn't. They needed to save it for the next president. to
The
find,
next election
Oh,
cycle
hi.
or something.
Oh, you want to come say hi? Oh, never mind. See, I said we want. Oh, and
Yep.
he's showing me his butthole. That's the cat. I'm like,
The
you want to come
cat's-
say hi? And he's like, look at my butt.
Here's where we're at now.
Yeah, maybe they got some things right.
So, like, are you watching stuff on Netflix, Hulu?
Oh, here we go,
Like
yeah.
all the there's so many new streaming services and all that. Like, is there anything
Trying
that you're
to
into?
communicate with you, I assume you don't have a lot of free time.
Yeah, I'm assuming that. Yeah. What do you do with your free time?
I work, I don't know, 15, 16-hour days.
Yeah,
Basically
okay.
7 days a week. The good news is I like it. The other good news is if I want to stop working and go have dinner in town, I go do that. If I want to
Okay.
go to the gym, I go do that. But my work days are still, 15, 16 hours
You still
long.
have to put in
And
those
You still have
hours.
to do the work. Yeah. Yep.
the other good news is it's things that I choose to do. It's things that I like doing. Surprisingly, there are things that I don't like doing and don't want to do that if I don't do, I will be, shot, killed, imprisoned, whatever.
Oh.
That's just the stuff like
Fucking taxes.
keeping books, not just providing a service and doing my own marketing and delivering products and teaching people and creating streams of income. That stuff is fine. I like that. Being good at my craft, I like that. It's the other job that I have, which is working for the government as an extra employee that doesn't get paid to track information that shouldn't be tracked, information used to give them money that they didn't earn. So I'm busy doing some of that stuff too.
Oh, I have to do that big math.
No, I don't have a lot of free time.
The big
But
math
you asked,
problem.
you asked like a 6-part question. So the other part to that is I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch the same like 2 or 3 TV shows on loop at night when I go to bed. I like
Okay.
one episode that I've seen 100 times and zonk out.
That's awesome.
Can I ask what that show is?
Yeah,
I mean,
There's a
you know.
couple.
What's your happy
The
place?
latest. There's a couple. What are the chances? It's hard to find people that like this show. One of them is The Venture Bros. It's a cartoon. Have you heard of it?
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! I haven't seen that
Yeah,
in
we
so
watched some of those,
long.
yeah.
Oh my gosh!
I love
wild,
it.
yeah.
I love it.
That's so. Yeah, that's great.
Wow!
Characters
All right,
are
that's
fun.
great.
Character arcs are so good. The relationships are so good. I like the fucking very inappropriate sexual relationships. Super cool.
That bodyguard.
A lot of death and dying. A little bit of time travel. Love it. Also, Futurama. Big fan of that one.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Mary, you didn't really like it, but I'm like, I see the genius in this. Like, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Once I start watching it, I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's like
oh,
The
this is
Simpsons.
so great. But
every
it's like,
time, or not The Simpsons, the South Park.
yeah.
Every time we watch it, we enjoy it, but we never get it.
I'm always
never
like,
wanted to watch
I
it.
don't know if I feel like watching it. And then once I watch it, I'm like, oh, this is always great. It always has been, you know. Oh my gosh.
She says Archer
Oh,
and
Archer,
Bob's Burgers. That's the
Bar-
same guy.
Bob-
Archer,
Burgers, yep,
Bob's Burgers.
Futurama.
Yeah,
Mhm.
both of those two have been in my rotation.
We used to like
I love
Archer
Archer.
because
That
we
was
all
so
had
different.
crushes on different cartoon characters.
Well, I've never had a crush on a cartoon character
until
Archer. And I was like, oh my, what is, you know?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Cheryl for sure from Archer. I mean Carol. For me.
Is she the big blonde?
Pam is.
Pam, yeah.
Is,
No,
yeah,
it's
you're
Pam.
thinking Pam.
I
You're
think Pam is.
Cheryl
is-
I could see Ryan and Pam together.
Yeah.
Cheryl Carroll is the one that
She's
is
damaged.
a little bit violent and sexual
She's damaged. Yeah.
and
she's
largely damaged.
Oh man, so I gotta like get back into that because we always forget where we left off. We're in season, I don't know, it's later seasons, but then they've made more, so I don't know.
There's too many shows out there, and we don't have enough time.
Yeah, yep. Oh, imagine that. Dave immediately thought of the big girl. Thick chicks, you know. Do you read a lot? Do you have time? I mean, are you more of like a
I used to
listener
read-
to stuff like
I used to
books?
read a ton, just an absolute ton. On deployments, I used to pack like 10, 12, 15, 20 books for like a 40-day deployment.
Oh wow.
A lot.
Wow.
Currently, I just don't have the time.
Yeah.
My brain is fucking, every single night when I go to bed, my brain is just a fucking dry sponge. It's done.
Yep.
So I used to read a lot at night, but I can't anymore. I'm just so busy during the day.
Yeah. What was okay?
I did read.
Oh, go ahead.
I mentioned Terry Pratchett earlier. I read like 12 or 13 books in one of his strings of his series. Fucking
Wow.
loved it. I've also read like I think there's 7 or 8 or 9 Hitchhiker's Guide books. I've read all of those.
I have the
All of
unabridged, leather-bound. Like I've
The
read
big,
that
big
like 4
book.
times. Yeah.
I thought there were like 4 of them, and I read them over and over. And then
Yeah,
I was like,
there's
oh,
like
there's a
6 or
5th.
7. Yeah.
And then I added that in. And then I was like, holy shit, there's a 7th, but by a different author. Awesome. And then I was like, oh, there's a posthumous release. Awesome. And I just kept finding
I was gonna
all these
say
new
that book,
ones.
but I'm like, that's too obscure, or not obscure, but just like off the wall.
Oh, okay.
That's
okay.
so great. Yeah.
And
I
I,
love-
think one of my favorites of that was a fan fiction that I think after he passed, his wife approved it, and a fan wrote like a fan fiction,
Oh, shit.
Hitchhiker's Guide. It's called. In one of the books, they make a reference to a huge Starline freighter crashing, or something,
Yeah.
the starship Titanic.
Okay. Okay.
So
yeah.
it's like a one-off comment,
Yeah.
and then like
they made a whole
several
book of
years
that.
later, someone made a whole book just about that event of that starship crashing. Super fucking cool.
Really?
Have you read the
Yeah.
like the Dirk Gently's holistic
Yes.
detective
Oh.
agency, and then
It took me a few tries to get into it, but I did read them, and I did
and
end
then
up liking it.
The long dark tea time for the soul.
Tea Time for the Soul, yeah.
It's fun.
I remember when I met you, you know, and
I'm like, I need to
get in your
find more books
car,
like
and
this.
I'm just like, what's this book? What are you reading?
Yeah, I love that shit.
That
That
is-
humorous science fiction.
Yeah.
And then
yep.
I'm always like trying to find something like it, and I'm like, damn it, he's dead. I think his last book was like something about birds or Last Chance
Aw.
to See or something. I never saw that
Oh,
one.
no, I don't know about that. You'll have to look into it. What about music? Are you into a certain kind? I mean, do you listen to stuff like you're getting up in the morning, like let's get hyped, or is it more like, you know, hey, mellow, or just
Oh God. I tried to get in the gym about 5 or 6 days a week, and I listen to music the whole time I'm in there, and that is just so eclectic. On some days it is Newfound Glory from Dating Myself,
okay?
if you remember them, 1999
Oh,
Newfound Glory.
ish.
I'd probably know the songs. I
bet you I know because
You would.
I'm all-
You probably would. Yeah.
Yeah, I love '90s music. Yeah.
On some days, it is I'll listen to a documentary or a podcast at the gym. On rare days,
Mm.
fuck. I don't know. It's so all over. It's all over the road. I don't
Yeah.
even remember some of the shit I listen to.
That's me. When someone's like, "What's your favorite song?" or "Who's your favorite artist?" and I'm like, "I'm blank. I can't think of anything. I just could go completely blank."
It's like I have my Pandora station. Mostly I go to like the 90s rock
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. You know, I don't want to.
It's okay. I mean,
Stone Temple Pilots, and then there's a lot of like. White
I'm an
Stripes
80s
and-
girl, and I do love the 80s music. A lot of the 80s
Same.
music, 90s, yeah, it's just good times. So,
That's okay. So there's one answer. Anything will, if I put 70s, best of 70s or best of 80s, completely happy. I am just
there you go.
the
there
bee's
you go.
knees.
Now, we do have one person in the comment section who doesn't like Queen. What's your thought on Queen?
How do you not like Queen?
Ryan doesn't like Queen, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
not calling you out, Ryan. Although I did just call you out,
I
Ryan.
think we got down to it, and it's not that he doesn't like them. He just it was kind of an overrated thing.
Yeah, too overrated. How do you feel about Queen?
I like their music quite a bit.
Yeah. Is there a band or a singer, artist, whatever that you feel is like, they're so overrated? Just I don't even want to hear them.
Yeah, anything after I got out of high school or college.
Oh, there you go.
That sucks.
How does that happen?
It's weird. Yeah,
How does that
everybody has
happen?
that pocket where it's like music, technology. Like at a certain point, you're done with technology. This is good enough.
Yeah.
There's no
Music.
such thing as good music anymore.
Yeah.
This is where the
Kids.
best music was
How am
made.
I- yeah.
Like
How am I
97
old?
was
Like,
like
oh.
the peak year of music, and then after that,
Oh my gosh. I don't
which
want
is
to.
I think when Biggie and Pac died was 96,
yeah,
97.
yeah,
See?
yeah.
That's when
Rippy.
music died.
No. Oh no. I don't want to keep you too long, Pat. I know Dave has to work tomorrow, but I don't want
I got a
to.
12-hour shift.
I don't want to
in, like,
keep you. I always
8 hours.
mean for Dave to ask like how much time do you have, because
I always forget to ask that too.
we can just we'll
We need a
we'll
safe
talk
word
forever.
for our
Yeah.
guests.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah, just pineapple.
Well, the good news is this is, it's technically work for me, but it's also
Oh, yeah.
definitely not. I fucking love doing this. This is
Oh,
this is
yay.
the equivalent of me like going to a bar like a normal human would do.
Oh,
Like
that's-
this is it. This is
yeah,
the thing I love.
This is our
This
social time.
This is
Yeah.
our social time.
Yeah.
Yep.
We have like
That's
a
so weird.
like a
Why are we so
sitter.
weird?
Yeah.
Yes.
But we just hang out with strangers and we get
That's right.
to get to know new people. And
I
it's
know.
so much fun.
I know. I love
Hey,
it.
real quick, and then we'll go back to talking. But let's promote everything you got, and then we'll do it again at the end.
Oh yeah.
Like, so we have.
Thank you.
You have your site, the tactical.
Yeah. So if nothing else, you can see all the things that I do at
Uncensored.
uncensoredtactical.com. If nothing else.
Yeah.
Okay.
And make sure you guys don't click it
there's-
now, but definitely click it soon.
Click it right after the episode ends.
Yeah.
There is stuff that I would forget, so I'll just mention some of the things I'm the most excited about.
Yeah.
I do have a lockpicking tool web store that's up. It's pretty new, and it was a very difficult venture to do, but it's up and running. We have some. Honestly, the thing I like about it is we're starting to stack stuff in there that no one else in the world is doing, which I'm fucking thrilled about. Right. So me and I have a. I don't know the right term for him. I should probably figure this out, but he helps me with almost everything behind the scenes at Uncensored Tactical. It's Dave. We run a private online tactical college together. So we have students that will meet twice a week for video courses, and we learn all sorts of cool shit. That's probably the backbone of everything I do. We have the gear store. We have in-person courses where we basically turn you into a spy in a couple days.
That's so fun.
I have 2 books that are written and published. I'm working on the 3rd. I do the dog training stuff. That's actually Canine Philosophy is my franchise of Fortress Canine. I don't know if that will stay the same or not. We're trying to restructure and make sure we're doing everything on making sure that Fortress Canine and my franchise are super organized. So I think it should stay the same for a while, but you can always find me at Uncensored Tactical.
Yeah.
There's things that I'm missing. I'm just not
That's
going
fine.
to
How many books have you written?
How many books?
I wrote 2.
Okay.
I have a third. I have a third one that is an item that looks like a book, but it's not a copyrighted published work. So it's a field manual for lockpicking. So it's basically a couple pages of info and then like dozens and dozens of pages of just like some numbers and files. So it looks like a book, but it's not. Like, you can't buy it on Amazon. It's just in our gear store. So it's a tool that looks like a book.
Hi.
It's not out yet.
Yeah. What's
It's-
the?
Like
The
spy
third
2-day course.
published book is on its way. I'm writing a third book about lockpicking. It's basically an interview compendium where I interview a bunch of different people that use entry skills and talk about how each different kind of subsect of making entry through locked obstacles, like how locksmiths do it and how firefighters do it and how like SWAT team people do it, like how everyone has their own different niche
Yeah.
of getting through a door. So that
team
should be out this year sometime.
Just get one of those.
I was
big
gonna
long
say that the
things.
SWAT team just does the thing, right? Don't they do the thing with the big? You
They
know,
try,
Like everybody
yeah.
just.
They try. I saw one video. It's like 20 minutes long of them trying to get into this apartment. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if he like put 2x4s bolted to the other side, but they're just. It was like.
We sadly.
It's like, when do you just turn around and walk away?
Yeah, we sadly had one of those like a no-knock raid kind of thing like happen here. Remember?
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah. I think I saw that.
on the wrong house. You know, it was like, and
Yeah.
they, oh gosh, and I'm like, dang it, why do they gotta do that shit? You know. But anyway,
Oh,
that's just.
I don't love it.
Yeah, made
Most
me
of it.
made me feel but yeah, you guys go back to what you were talking about. I'm gathering questions here from the.
Oh, there's a ton of them.
There's
a lot of them
there's
are
a whole
nonsense,
bunch.
but
No, but a lot of them are super great. So, okay. Oh yes,
That is
that's.
such a
I also
pretty
want to know
dog.
about that vanilla. Do you accept crypto for purchases of your anything?
At this time, I don't, because I don't know enough about it.
Yep.
Okay. I also don't know enough about it.
I own some. I don't know
Yeah.
if I'm doing it right.
Celeste wants to know your favorite pie.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh,
We fell.
that's fine. That happens with big doggies. Aw.
Try again.
Yeah, he's like, this is a new command. I don't know.
She,
She.
yes, she.
Sorry.
She's not offended. What did Celeste want to know? I
Oh,
forget.
your favorite
I didn't-
pie.
We call her
Me
Pie
too.
Girl.
All right, we got you.
Hi.
Favorite pie. I haven't had pie in fucking forever. Oh my
Gosh,
god.
Celeste, you need to bake a pie and send it to this man.
We'll share it. You and me, we'll share it. Arrow.
Oh, he's.
Oh,
she's
her ears
she's
are up
for
like
it.
boop. Yes.
I have no idea. No clue.
Wow. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, there you don't have to have an answer for that. That's yeah. Celeste bakes amazing pies, just so you know. Like, if you ever see her in person.
Oh, and pierogies, I heard.
Oh my
Pierogies, the
gosh!
normals
Oh
call 'em.
yes, yep. Also, the spy course, the quote unquote spy course. You know, how do you do this? And is it near anywhere else other than Florida?
Is it a video thing or is it?
How does that happen?
Yeah, the big one this year is going to be Wilmington, North Carolina in August.
Oh, okay. So how often do you do that, or have you been? Is this like a new thing that you're doing? North Carolina.
No, I've been doing
August,
this for a little while. I usually average about 2 or 3 courses a year that I'll teach in person.
Oh, okay. Yep.
This year is going to be a little different just because we actually canceled a course or 2 this year because I have so many other projects. Like I have the online store that we're trying to expand. I have the books that I'm trying to write more books. So I'm choosing to take a lot more effort. I love it. Honestly, if I had to pick one thing, the book writing is really, really good for me. I really like that.
Yeah.
It just makes me feel really good. But the in-person courses, like that's where I practice my craft.
Yeah.
Which is I get a student in front of me, we look at each other, and I'm like, let's break into all this shit. And we do. Like I love it.
That sounds fun.
But I'm only probably going to teach two different events this year for that.
Okay. Oh gosh. That just sounds so fun though. I feel like that would be a good like for me and you just to. Oh, you're looking at the site right now.
I'm looking at the store. Yeah. Bump keys. I swear I saw something. It's like you put a key in and you like hit it or something, and is that what that is?
Smack it with a hammer.
Really?
And make it work. Is that what you do?
Let me.
I don't know how any of this works. I did tinker with my son's lock picking set, and it's like a puzzle, and I love puzzles, and so it made me feel like, oh yeah, but I don't know that I was following any kind of
only $8. What does the multi-pass
that's
do?
right. That's for door latches. So when the door's shut and you can see the latch, like through the little door jamb.
Like when you lock the bathroom door and you're taking a shower and I have to go to the bathroom, so I stick.
Yep.
That's right. My book is on there. I think Celeste either bought or read my book like the day that she left her job.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
She's still in chat.
Oh, that's right.
Fuck bureaucracy.
That one, yep. Fuck bureaucracy.
Yes.
She was talking about that for like weeks.
Yep.
Super cool.
Celeste is doing something she loves now. Like, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it worked on her.
I love that. Oh my gosh, wait.
There's so much stuff here.
I'm going to have to go look at
Sorry.
this. No. I'm like, go back.
I don't know where I was.
So that's something new. That one that you're looking at right there, it's just looks like a set of keys.
Yeah.
We're using that in our covert entry course, which is the advanced methodology of planning to enter somewhere. So that's a very primitive method of you hold those keys up to a target key. So if you can borrow or somehow acquire a key, you can hold each one. Those are gauges, actually. So you hold one of those up and you hold it up to the target key and you go, is this the same height? Yes or no? You do that for each position down the length of the key. So you can
and then you can just
see
mark little numbers
how deep the key is cut so that you pull that kind of the signature of the key from it. And then you go either to your key cutting machine or a locksmith or the internet and you go, I need a key that's a 57826. And then when you go back to your target later, you just use the key instead of lockpicking.
That's amazing.
Oh, yeah, you have the stuff.
Yeah, this is so cool.
Oh, that's a really nice looking lock.
Do you carry? Codain wants to know what kind of everyday carry do you have?
I have it on me. And since I'm in Texas, this is my...
Hold on, let me get this off.
Oh wow!
Oh,
right where it should be.
Yeah.
On your person. Oh my! Oh, and
where
more.
you're safest.
Tough life. I wake up, I grab my gun, I train my dogs outside on the farm. It's
oh my gosh,
terrible.
do you get into like one of those like suit type things? I mean, do you get into that for the dogs to?
Oh, the attack.
So
suit?
Yeah.
I do when I'm doing my updated training with my mentor in Florida. I am the some people call it a bite decoy. We call it a canine training sparring partner.
Okay.
So I wear the dog when other people need bite training, but when Arrow does her bite training, I have to find someone else to do it. I choose to not be in the suit for that.
Oh, okay. Oh, boy. I don't know. What does that feel like when...
Like I've seen those videos where the dog just flies at him and just boom.
Yeah.
So for the most part, as long as there's nothing erroneous, like a dog biting your face or like your hands coming out of the suit and dog biting your hand, as long as that doesn't happen, for the most part, it's not painful at all. You're not like, ouch, 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 for the most part.
Oh, for the most part.
Like a large majority, like 99%, it's heavy and it's athletic.
You're going to
like
feel some pressure.
Yeah, but it's not nearly as scary as it looks on TV.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. That sounds... Now, do you ever show any of this kind of stuff like on your site or... Oh, there's the cat.
I'm doing a lot more of it, and I just recorded, like I said earlier, my 6th episode of my dog podcast that should publish tomorrow. And the YouTube, I've been using the Uncensored Tactical platform to build the canine training, but just this last month, I've decided to separate the dog stuff into its own branding.
Okay.
So you can find some stuff on my Uncensored Tactical podcast or on the YouTube channel, but they're now 2 separate entities. There's still links, so if you go to the Uncensored Tactical website, you'll see a button that says canine. It'll take you somewhere else, but that's still me.
Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. Man, you're living, like, doing what you want. Mm-hmm. That sounds...
We need to read that damn book.
I know, right?
Well, I like my job, but they own me. Like, I like what I do.
Yeah.
But I have forced overtime. It'll be like the end of my shift, and they're
tomorrow
like,
and Sunday.
They're like, you're not leaving when you thought you were going to leave. You're going to leave 4 hours later.
Yeah. So I've had a couple debates with people, and I posit that government sucks But you know what has even a worse effect on your liberty is your fucking employer. They say you can't go, you have to be at this place whether you like it or not. You cannot leave at a certain time. You cannot wear a different fucking piece of clothing. You cannot, you can't do better. You know, we're not going to give you more money even if you do better. So you can't even improve.
Yep.
That sounds
a union
fucking
job.
worse than government.
Yeah, yep. Well, that's what, and good is the enemy of
what it
great.
is.
And I think, we're doing really good. We're doing good. And it's is there more? And it's hard because, we got a 12-year-old, an almost 9-year-old, and a 7-year-old. And it's like, if it was just me and Dave, we'd be fuck it. Let's live in a cardboard box and do what we want.
Them attaching health insurance to your employment really locks you down.
Yeah. With kids, I feel more.
That's a chapter in my book.
Is it?
That I'll give you the short version.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Dave.
A buddy of mine was a firefighter. Loved being a firefighter, but his bosses were making it fucking suck. And everyone told him you'd be an idiot to leave because think of the healthcare.
Yeah.
And
You
so
got a
he
401k.
he took an interview at a local, very small company doing a manual task that he was interested in. And he meets with this prospective new employer, and he's like, hey, just out of curiosity, he's like, what kind of health care do you guys offer? And the small business owner that has 3 employees pulls open his laptop, and he turns it around, and he goes, oh, it's that right there. And he goes, no shit. He goes, that's not like my firefighter insurance. That is my firefighter health insurance.
Wow.
And he calls me up, and he goes, Pat, how many other things have my employer been lying to me about? And I'm like, think about it. If every job says we have the best healthcare, that's logistically impossible. The numbers don't work out. You can't have every job having the best healthcare. So your company is telling you that it's really good, but have you looked at other companies or other options?
Mm-hmm. It's so hard.
But honestly,
it's hard.
Without that job attached healthcare, like you were an independent contractor.
Yeah.
And it's so expensive to just do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so messed up.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
You know what else is expensive? Being at a place and around people that you fucking hate for most of your life. That's expensive too.
Yeah, I like that.
That's really,
Yeah, sorry.
No,
that's great.
that's good. That's
so
good.
Everybody's got. Is it called Fuck Bureaucracy? That's the name of it.
Because everybody here is gonna go get a new job tomorrow for them, work for themselves or for
that is
doing
bold
what they wanna.
to put "fuck" really big on the front of your book.
Well,
That's
you.
like the old punk rock bands, like Nirvana. Before they were Nirvana, they had a lot of weird names that probably wouldn't have gotten as big.
Oh, I was like, wait, like Nirvana? What are you talking about?
No, the band, yeah.
Yeah.
They had all these weird, innuendo punk rock names.
Please call me says I want to work for myself. I need help.
But apparently, it's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
Need help? Start with the book. It's not very expensive and it's not very long.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I like you, Pat.
You're fun.
This is fun.
This is great.
I don't want to hang up with you guys.
I do have to go.
I
to sleep.
understand.
Looking
I
Yeah.
usually aim at 11:32.
Yeah, Dave, he's got to work 12 hours tomorrow because it's Saturday and he was
So I
forced.
got some mandatory.
Not only is he forced to work tomorrow, he's forced to work an extra 4 hours tomorrow. So
Yeah. Evidently, they knew I was in need.
Yes.
I needed more money.
because gas prices are so high, so apparently, this has been a ton of fun. I hope you'll come back. I mean, really, this was.
I would love to. This is fantastic.
Thanks.
And there's so much more we can talk about.
I know, right? Yeah.
We had to abandon dog training because we just wanted to talk about other things, but there's so much there.
There's so much.
Worth
Yes.
it, I think.
This was so great. One more time, we want to make sure everybody goes.
Yeah, I'll
Let's
post
post.
the
Dave's going
link.
to post the link so that because you said that your main site is where everyone
Yeah,
can
you
find
can
out what's
find it
going
on-
on.
And I'm the
There you
most active on Instagram. I am
Instagram.
never on fucking Twitter. So if you
That's
send me a
where-
message there
that's
and I
where
don't
I invited
answer,
you.
it's not because I don't like you.
Okay. It's what do you think, real quick? What do you think about all the I mean, different platforms.
This isn't a real quick.
It isn't,
question,
I
is it?
suppose, but the censoring and all that jazz. I mean, so you prefer the Instagram over everything else? Is it because the dogs and you can post pictures of the dogs and it's just so much,
animals
like,
win.
woo, animals win. They do.
I don't know. I don't know.
They're the best. Did you take my beer?
I don't know.
Okay,
I thought
sorry.
you gave me one.
I did.
Okay.
We're at that. It's that time.
Yeah.
Thanks, folks. This was fucking so much fun. I'm really happy you guys had me back.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm glad
Thank
we
you for
made it
being
work.
here. Yeah, absolutely. And check out Float, FLOTE.
Oh, that's
.app if you've never been there before.
That's
absolutely no
where we do our
censoring.
anarchy streams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. And if you're ever free on a
Cool.
Sunday night, come watch a movie because we watch movies on Float on Sunday nights. So
Right, I did watch one on what's his
On
was
Derek's.
Derek's
channel. Yeah.
Yep.
I watched Mrs. Doubtfire with him the other night.
Gosh, that's such a good.
What are we
throwback.
watching?
Yeah.
We don't even know what the movie is.
I don't even know
I forgot the name.
what the movie is.
All right, the dogs have to pee.
Yeah.
All right, yes.
Night.
Good
I'm
night.
so sorry, but I
Good night. Nope.
got a jet.
You go.
Take it.
Take care. Good night, Pat.
Good night.
I can't remember the name of the movie that we're watching because I've never heard of it before. So
Yeah. I already forgot. I'll have to look it up when I promote it.
I can't remember. Someone who knows, please tell me what it is. He's so nice. Thank you, Celeste.
That was fun.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. Yep. And oh my gosh, just like hanging out like the dogs, like so cool. Yeah.
When I do finally make this a podcast, and so here's my plan: is that I'm gonna make a podcast,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna start like
Oh, I never opened the beer.
just the interviews,
Okay.
because nobody wants to hear us just bullshitting with the chat. If they want that, they can come find the show. But there's a lot of weeks where we don't have a guest, and then I'll just go back and like find an old interview, and that'll be that week's podcast. But it's like, do you start with your best one? Do we start with McAfee?
We've had a lot. We've
or-
had a lot of great interviews.
Yeah.
That was just like I don't know. You know what I want to do? I'm going to wake up tomorrow and feel a tiny bit of regret. I'm going to feel a little bit of regret because I got a little drunk at the end there.
No, it was fine though.
Are
It
you
was great.
sure? Okay. Yeah. Wait a minute okay, yeah.
But it's like, do you start with your best, or you?
give her a foot rub. Yes.
Because you don't want to start with the best and then go back to the older where it's bad audio. I have technical
No.
issues, and
We have a lot of good interviews, like and I'm really thinking like that one with Dan.
that was one of the best ones because everybody thought
darling,
Dave
good
was going to die.
Yeah. No, Dan should come back.
Dan's a
hang out.
fantastic man. He really is.
Here we go. I don't know. I feel like we've had some,
We have.
We have had some really, really great
Like
people,
the
so.
time suck I was just listening to
Dan's
was
a terrible guest.
what's his name? Waco.
Grab a beer, Hatch.
The Waco thing.
Oh yeah.
That was a really good interview.
Yeah. Oh
with
yeah.
Dave,
yeah.
David
David
Thibodeau.
Thibodeau. Yeah, and we got to
Thibodeau?
get Seth his shirt.
That
Oh
was
my
a
gosh!
really
Sorry,
good one.
guys. I am. Do a poll and let the viewers vote. There you go. Yep.
But it's
keep
not so much
belching, I'm
like what's
sorry.
the best, what's the worst, but do you like when
Waiting
somebody
for Guffman. Waiting for Guffman.
Waiting
I don't know.
for
Something Guffman. Something
Yeah, let me do
working
it.
for. Wait. Something Guffman. Can we watch the preview? I have no idea what this movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah, David Thibodeau. Yep, he was. Oh,
But it's
I
like,
see-
do you want your first pod? Because like when I find a new podcast, I'll accidentally find an episode, and I'll be like, oh, this is good, and then I'll go back to the first one, and it's like, do you want your first one to be like a normal one, the best one, quality wise, or what? 10-ish
Yep.
days.
Let's
Get
all
your sleep now, bro,
Let's all have a moment.
and embrace your sleep, and be like, oh, this
Talking
is what it
about-
feels
yeah.
like to sleep.
But poor Shenandoah, though, she can't just say like, "Oh, this is what it feels like to sleep." Because no, don't play the thing yet.
I'm
Because
not.
Because when you're pregnant and you're that far along, you don't remember what like real good sleep is like.
I think I like this already. Just looking at this screenshot here.
But I cannot wait. I'm so excited. I think of you guys every day. I'm like, oh my gosh, what if like the babies are like it's happening right now? Yeah. I'm pumped. Yeah. Yep. Praying for you guys. Yeah.
And remember,
yep.
when you have the first baby, you don't have to be awake together. Sleep in shifts. Don't put it in anything cute because it's gonna shit and throw up on everything. Save that for when you
gonna-
actually leave the house, and then be ready to throw it away when you get home.
Yep. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I'm just so excited. This is my honest wish.
The city council.
You got to pause it though, real quick, Dave.
Gave me the
You got to
Oh.
pause it. Please pause it.
Oh shit! You made me.
I didn't make
Look
you.
what you made me do.
Um.
From the lead guitarist of
Oh,
Spinal
because
Tap.
that's what Ray said. Spinal
Yeah.
Tap. Yep. Don't worry so much. Like I was, yeah. I mean, yeah, we were in a different kind of situation. And
They're
everything.
very
but like,
resilient. You can drop
but
them on the
they're
floor. They're fine.
no. Try not to drop
It's
your
actually
baby on the floor.
encouraged to drop your baby on
Nope,
the floor.
don't.
Makes them tougher.
Don't.
Put them in a box, and when they climb
No.
out of the box, that's when their training can begin.
Okay, so just make sure everyone's getting rest. Don't give a shit about the house. Who cares? Work together.
How did I get so unzipped?
I don't know.
I feel exposed. Where's Raja?
Just sleep when you can.
Mm-hmm.
Sleep all the time. You know, it's going to be okay. And message me or Dave if you guys need anything. Not that we're like pros, but like, you know, we've
Message
been there.
Mary.
And I'll just let you know, like, you're going to make it through, you know?
I do that now. I have no kids. I just sleep when I can. Yeah, that's what we do
So
too.
Dave took off some time. Like, he had some time off.
Oh, yes. That. What is that?
It makes him into
FMLA?
future drops.
I went to work, I saved money, and then I FMLA'd the shit out of there. It
Yeah.
was like I gave birth.
Yeah, he
We
took off some
bonded.
time. Yeah, it was great. So, like, I would sleep, and then Dave would bring the baby in when he was hungry. But otherwise he was playing video games with the baby on his lap. I'll
Yeah.
send you a picture.
Yeah, I'd sit here with my legs up. and I'd
On
be
the
rocking-
coffee table, and he's rocking his knees
Yep.
and his legs back and forth. But
Playing
he's
Halo 3.
Yep. Yep. Good stuff. Yeah.
All right,
it's
let's-
gonna be good.
From the lead
But it's
guitarist
so-
of Spinal
I'm just so
Tap.
excited for you guys. Yeah.
Gave me the
So
responsibility
excited.
of putting together a show.
I can't wait to see
celebrate
the baby.
150th anniversary of Blaine.
I took the whole history of the
They
town.
smell delicious,
I
Joel.
squeezed it like a piece of fresh bread.
I think the one
so this is what
really
we're gonna be
important
watching on
thing that I
Sunday.
learned in working with Corky is that I do
This looks-
indeed have talent.
My booby made a kishka. She made it big and fat.
This is
My
very
Zeta
quirky.
took one look at it
Look
and
who's
said,
in
I
it.
Those
can't eat
folks,
that.
you know,
I
yeah.
have found
That guy?
here in Blaine a gold
My
mine
tiny hand.
of talent. I think Johnny would be so perfect, don't you?
He could be the next Keanu Reeves.
We've got Ron and Sheila on board again.
Midnight at the old man.
Oh, it's all the same people.
It is. They all
It's
work
always
together.
the same
Alan
people.
Pearl.
I have a very lazy eye.
Okay, that's all I
Which-
need. I don't want to get banned because we're always banned on Facebook. If you ever want to watch the show afterwards, it's not on Facebook. It gets banned every single time. Find us on YouTube until we get kicked out of there, which I'm afraid that this will kick us out of YouTube.
I hope not. All those rules are dumb. Those are dumb rules.
Thrown through a baseball
That's right, yeah.
fence. What are you
Honestly,
talking
yeah.
about?
I don't know if you want to sleep through the night, put a NyQuil.
Yeah.
No.
No, that's not those pharmaceuticals. Use whiskey, that's a homeopathic way.
Listen,
Listen.
our parents did it. No, my parents, I probably not, but my parents probably did that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
everybody's
they were
still
giving, They
okay.
were giving them like morphine and heroin.
Yeah, no, I can't just drink. You're gonna just drink Irish cream?
That's good stuff.
Really?
Yeah. I think I'm out of.
I don't know, bro.
I'm just kind of tidying up now.
Yeah, well, hold on a second with just chugging the whiskey, like.
Well, that's
oh,
all's gone. Do you want a
Never
shot?
mind.
Do you want like a Bailey's whiskey shot?
maybe. But
That's what I've been
the
doing.
last. But that's
Yeah.
the last.
I poured that last one for you, and you delayed.
I didn't know that you poured it for me.
Well, I wasn't going to advertise it because I wanted to drink it.
Oh, okay. Yes, homeopathic whiskey. Yes. Oh my gosh, that's another one. I have
We
something.
need to work on that tolerance.
Homeopathic whiskey. Right.
See, if you get your kids
Good night,
drinking
Jay.
young,
Thanks for
they're
being
not going to
here.
get in trouble
Thanks
at the parties. with
Thanks for letting me know about
with
Buffalo,
alcohol
too.
Poisoning.
I gotta.
Follow me for more pro tips.
I just have to real quick.
Do you though?
Where's my? Yeah, I want to message myself because the last thing I messaged myself was the research lotion that Ryan needed. Right?
There's so many notes that come out of this show where we read them the next day and we're like, what the fuck were we
homeopathic.
These are all T-shirt ideas.
Whiskey.
TM.
Yeah.
Don't steal it.
Yeah. Oh, shit. I love it. Oh, I love it so much. Yeah, this is good. Yep. Thanks for being here.
Yeah,
you guys.
it's midnight. Look at the 12. 12.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Dave's got to work 12 hours tomorrow.
Do your shot.
I'm gonna buy you that book as a birthday present.
I like everybody's like, oh, here's my job, and I'm like, I really like my job.
I know you like what you're doing. You just hate being like tied down to that.
Yeah.
Like it'd be so cool if like you could just be here and they'd call you and be like, hey, we got this problem, and then you could be like, oh yeah, I know exactly what to do.
No, I would be very valuable even on the phone.
Good night, guys. I know.
I'm kind of a
big deal.
Yeah.
Your apartment reeks of mahogany.
Yeah. Many leather bound books.
Oh, Shenandoah.
She says,
girl.
Oh my gosh. That's why Mary's
you.
like, I'll have all the babies. I just don't want to be pregnant again.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll give birth to every child. Like, I just don't want to be pregnant. After the third one, I'm like, no,
Slyther, it's that thing where it's like, even if you only have like 5 minutes between like when you fell asleep and when you have to go to work, you slept, so you're sober. It's fine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna drink this. I'm gonna drink some water after it though, because
Radio 8424. I love what you're doing. You're like all this like new stuff you're like trying to throw out there. We're so afraid of like being a audio thing or being a something that people watch after the fact. It's horrifying.
I hate that feeling, Dan.
Oh, I meant to ask him. Like he said that he was into like branding and
there is no next one,
podcasts and everything. It's like,
oh yeah.
I wanted to ask him what he thought of like what I built here.
You can still ask him.
I might. Yeah, I guess I could probably talk to him. We could be friends.
You guys probably could be friends.
Could be friends.
I bet you.
Oh man, we could talk about aliens and the moon landing and stuff.
Well, don't start off with that, but you know. I've heard of that. I've heard of the DUI going to work the next morning kind of thing.
I think when you're driving in the work in the morning, like the cops will leave you alone because it's super early and they understand that you're just like, you know, you're just you're just doing the grind. I feel like when I'm driving to work in the morning, like there'll be cops around and they're just like, okay, this is the working class. They're just trying to get to work on time and do the right thing.
On some wood now.
And they're not all bastards. Maybe they are. I don't know.
Or maybe they're just getting done with their night and they're like,
I liked his take on it.
Paperwork, no paperwork, you know. I like to think that some of them got into it and want to do good.
Yeah,
you know.
A lot of people are misled.
I don't know. It's really hard. We should end the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Says the baby monitor.
The monitor for the kids
monitor
upstairs.
has spoken.
Yeah,
you guys, thanks for showing up again.
Thanks for being here.
And as long as you guys keep showing up, we'll keep doing this thing. So if you guys could stop showing up, that'd be great.
No. Oh my gosh, Dave's joking. Seriously.
We have a lot of fun. This is our social time, just like he said. And I'm glad that you guys hang out
Mama.
and socialize with us.
Mm-hmm.
Odyssey.
Oh, I know. We got to figure out how to do, you know, that's all.
All right,
Dave. Everything's Dave.
I'll figure out Odyssey. I'll figure out what we have to do to stream there.
Good night, everybody.
Okay, bye forever. Never, Ryan. Especially you, Ryan.
Never forever. Where's Alan? Alan needs to get in here and keep an eye on Ryan. Yep. Good night, Night Mary. Yeah, Night Mary showed up.
Scenes.
She's here. I love you guys. Forever is 2 days.
Oh, that's
See you guys on Sunday.
Yeah,
Sunday night.
Watch that movie, which looks really fun. I'm excited about watching Alan Pearl, Dentist.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, get on AOL.
Oh,
y'all.
why are we not streaming on AOL?
Everybody, get your the old like
the CD, the 5,000 minutes free. Get your CD at Kmart.
Yeah.
So that you have enough minutes to watch us on AOL.
We're not doing an after show tonight.
No, I gotta
just happen to
work long
stay
tomorrow.
up later tonight than usual, so
Boondock Saints.
I know.
I actually made a reference. The Willem Dafoe detective.
Yes, Boondock Saints, yeah.
All right. Good night, guys. See you Sunday.
Y'all.
I don't like your T-Series. Nothing personal, kid. But I must go all out. Just this once. Bob's or Vagana, whichever will it be. Set the fuck down, T-Series, I'm here to spill the real tea. You tryna dethrone me from spot on number 1, but you India, you lose, so best think you haven't won. When I'm through with you, we're gonna be completely fucking done, cause we only just begun. I review you, 0 vibe is gone. So come on, T-Series, looking hungry for some drama. Here, let me serve you bitch lasagna. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but a bitch lasagna. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. Look at T-Series, they just crying for their mama. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but a bitch lasagna. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. T-Series just whip himself in their pajamas. So who the hell is Bob and why you wanna kiss him? Ew. I'm a blue-eyed white dragon while you're just dark magician. Ooh. You got a fifth of the population in your nation, but I got 90 rolls the world's a whole, your defecation. Oops, multipatlo, what the fuck is that even supposed to mean? Your language sounds like it come from a mumble rap community. No papa, yes papa, Johnny. Now download the sugar and let's throw this fucking party with some bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. Look at T-Series, they just crying for their mama. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but a bitch lasagna. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. Look at T-Series, they just wet in their pajama. Bitch lasagna, bitch lasagna. T-Series ain't nothing but a bitch lasagna. You got a population of 1.32 billion, but most your videos can't seem to hit even a million. Support!
Magic potty, baby, your bottle's all done. It's potty training time, will be so much fun. I help you with your training dance, you make me so proud. Your potty feels like magic, then it flushes out loud.
It's fun to help Magic Potty Baby learn to use her potty. Flush and you're ready for next time.
Magic potty, baby, I'm so glad that you're mine.
Magic Potty Baby and her Magic Potty. No water, no mess. Batteries not included.